Yeah, y'all can hear me now, can't you? Y'all sure can. Okay. So the only problem. Okay, listen, guys. I almost spilled my drink. So the only problem, you guys, that we're gonna have as far as on the YouTube end is you guys are not going to be able to see. I guess I could add it as a separate thing. So that way y'all can see it. I'll go ahead and do that actually. So that way you guys can see it and there's not going to be any issues with what you guys are able to see. All right. Display capture automatic. Okay, cool. Boom. All right, we're just going to put that down there. All right, for now, let's go ahead and go live on TikTok. Hello to everybody. Okay. Let's go ahead and start this.
Out here in the fire pit burning bright, Blaze got the mic spitting truth to the night. Smokehouse slides in heavy like a freight train. Rock dropping bombs making waves like propane. The fire pit blazing hotter than the sun. Politics in motion, yeah, the show's just begun. From TikTok screens to every house in town, Blaze, Smokehouse, and Pair Rock laying it down. They say the country split like open ground. Voices go unheard till the truth is found. Blaze calls the shot, Smokehouse holds the line. Barack sparks the matches where the flames align. The fire pit glowing, casting shadows of lies. Truth up in the smoke, tearing masks from the skies. TikTok live where the real ones ignite. Run your mouth wrong and get lost in the light. Fire pit blowing, casting shadows on lies. Truth up in the smoke, tearing masks from the skies. TikTok live where the real ones ignite. Run your mouth wrong and get lost in the light. Keyboard warriors lurking, eyes full of fear. Blaze cuts through the smoke, makes it all crystal clear. Smokehouse with the hammer, dropping words like nails. Pair Rock preaching fire to fill Liberty sails. The fire pit blazing hotter than the sun. Politics in motion, yeah, the show's just begun. From TikTok screens to every house in town, Blaze, Smokehouse, and Pair Rock laying it down.
I just realized my mic was muted that whole time I was talking to you guys and y'all couldn't hear a word I said. Do you guys love that song as much as I do? Because, man, I can't get over that song. All right, let's get P-Rock in here to get the show started so you guys know that you can join. So you see the... There we go. Is he in here? Yeah, there we go. What's going on, P-Rock? Man, loving the intro, you know, nothing else. All right, so everybody, you see the prompt. DEI sucks. And we're not going to hold back on that, okay? I'm going full force on DEI. And the reason I'm picking DEI to go for full force on is because it's not merit-based. It specifically targets people who they say they're trying to, basically, the people that they say they're trying to help, it actually hurts, okay? And then you have, obviously, people like us who have been working for a long time who get replaced or get overlooked by somebody because of DEI standards. So that's just the forefront of it. BIP, define DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's literally what it stands for. If you can't see past the fact that DEI in itself stands for the fact that the least qualified get the job, then I'm not sure what else you get from it. But that's what I get from it. DEI ultimately, let me get this multi-guest screen pulled up so if you guys request, I can see it. He's coming. He's making it here. We just gotta this stupid app. They have got to fix this freaking app, man. And I can't see. There we go. All right, now I can see it if you guys request. Okay, so getting back on topic. Thank you, Kat, for the hearts. Thank you very much. I can't define it. I just defined it. Bib, I think you're a great candidate for somebody who should get the show started and give an opposing view for why you think this. But apparently you left, so therefore I'm right. And I win the argument. I'm not sure where Smokehouse is at. I really want him. Part of this episode was actually for him because I knew he would enjoy this. Right, exactly. Let me see if I can get this. Display capture does not capture audio. Anyways, so yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Nobody's really had a whole lot to say. DEI creates division. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I actually think that that's part of why it was designed, was to create division, because we were actually getting along and we were actually discovering the truth of, yeah. So thank you, Doggy House, for the lives. We're just getting started. I want to get people in here. It's going to take a minute. I know that's usually how it goes. It's going to take a minute to get people in here. But right. Right. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the similar arguments you could make for religion not being in school, you could make for DEI not being in your job, right? If it affects one person, then it's going to affect all. Like, okay, they want to use the argument that you can't essentially pray in school, right? Because it goes against other students of other religions. Well, what's the difference between that and DEI? DEI discriminates against people who aren't in a specific category, right? So if they're going to use the argument that you can't preach and you can't pray in schools, I don't understand why the same logic doesn't apply to DEI. But right, 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 and I can definitely see that because I mean that's what they do on a lot of things in general. I mean they like to. Oh, what's the word? I actually made a video about this recently. They like to point fingers and then say somebody else is doing the things that they're actually doing. Cory Booker, I don't know if you guys know him. He's a senator for, I forget what state, but he's a Democratic senator and he's really good at that. He'll point the finger and say, "Hey, look at what these guys are doing," when in reality, like they'll talk about kickbacks. Well, Elizabeth Warren is the ultimate kickback nominee. You know what I mean? She's made over $300 million being in Congress. Or I think it's $100 million, not $300 million. I apologize for that. But and Nancy Pelosi, insider trading. I mean, right? Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's interesting you bring that up because Pam Bondi actually has had similar criticisms because like we all have been a little bit underwhelmed with the Epstein list, right? Like I think all of us, especially that voted for Trump, have been underwhelmed with, because that was one of the things that they ran on is we're going to release the Epstein list. What was it? Kash Patel and Pam Bondi both said, "Hey, day one, we're releasing the Epstein list." And I understand that they had to request more records from the FBI, and there's only so much control they have over that. But still, it's a little disheartening that they haven't been as upfront and honest about it. Oh yeah, well, and before we even know, like the whole jail thing happened, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't that happen before COVID? Okay, so yeah, all of that happened before COVID, and now, sorry, I was. Well, if that's the case, then they need to tell us that. If they come to find that is the case, and they have no way of confirming anybody in any way, then they need to tell us that. They need to just come out and say, "Hey, this is what we've got," and we don't. That's true. That's true. Stephanie, how are you doing tonight? Good, good. Welcome to the show. So do you agree with the prompt that DEI sucks, or do you think that DEI is good? Okay, all right. Tell us why. Okay. Okay, so you're essentially saying that people who think that DEI sucks think that it sucks because they believe um, a less qualified person is getting the job, and when reality, a person of the same quality is getting the job, just somebody who had less opportunities. Is that what you're saying? Am I understanding? Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding your argument, but if I'm understanding correctly, I don't want to assume anything. You're saying that people do have certain situational advantages. Okay, like let's say somebody who was born into a poor family and they can't afford a car, therefore they have to take the bus. Is that essentially what you're like if we're talking about specific groups, that would be an example that you would use? Is that accurate? Okay. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this on that line. Do you think that anybody should be able to be whatever they want in this country? Let's say you're born poor, you're born an immigrant, and you come to this country the legal way, the way everybody agrees. Would you say that you should have the opportunity to do whatever you want, whether it be, you go to a big school and you go to college and you want to be a doctor, so you get federal grants from the government and you go to and you go to school and versus like you said, like you brought up community college. Thank you for the follow, Zoro. um so just for reference, I went to community college, and I don't take offense to what you said. I understand exactly what you're saying. Trust me, I get it. The difference between me and your example is I didn't have a specific career that I wanted to go into. I went there because I live in an area where they did get grants and I got my school paid for. It was a community college, but it was paid for and it helped me out. So basically what I'm asking you is, do you think because somebody is not able to, let's say, be a doctor or be a nurse or something like that, they should be considered a failure in their own mind because they might have to switch career paths. They might have to do something that they didn't think they would be doing, 8 years ago when they were a kid or even 16 years ago. Of course, you've got different rules for different people. You've got valedictorians, okay? Those people deserve scholarships. They need to go do what they want to do. Those are smart people, and we're going to benefit from that as a country. But as far as like people, let's say like our example, I know this is a very loose example, so I hope it doesn't come off in any kind of way, but like just a person whose parents did not have a lot of income and therefore they were met with like they had to have the school lunch paid for. Basically government assistance is how they got through life, and they get to the point where they're ready to go to college and they want to be a doctor, right? And they have, let's say, a 3.4 GPA, very average. Should that person have their school paid for, or should they, let me rephrase, should they have their school paid for a big school like a university, or would be community college funding be enough to help them get into a career where they would be able to make sustainable income? They might not be a doctor like they always wanted to be, which I understand people have goals and aspirations, but at the end of the day, we can't always, in my opinion, everybody can't be what they want to be at the end of the day. We all have to face the reality that sometimes we have to switch our game plan up a little bit. So Mike, okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, but s- so okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Okay. I hear you. and and that opposite end of the argument, we're gonna get to you, Kay, and then Parker. That's actually the opposite end of the argument that I'm on is people are gonna get disqualified for jobs that they are more qualified for in the name of DEI. And it has happened fairly recently. I'd say probably about 2022 to now is when it started. Quotas. That's part of what I'm talking about is people not getting the job because of like P Rock just said a quota, right? But anyway, I want to get Kay in here and then Parker. Kay, what do you got for us? Do you agree with the prompt or do you disagree? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Hmm. I can agree with you. Okay. Right. Right. I agree. I agree with that. And you actually have a decent amount of like Indian Americans, Native Americans, um, let's see, Asian Americans, um, Latino Americans. I mean, it's not specific to one group. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just and you can respond to that, Kay, and then your next Parker. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. 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 Okay. Go ahead, Parker, and then Sam, you're next. Oh, sorry. I let me start. Do you agree with the prompt or do you disagree? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a convoluted mess, right? People have a lot of bad opinions about DEI. I'll be the first one to tell you as a Republican who voted for Trump, there are a lot of bad opinions about DEI. I'll tell you that. I'll admit that firsthand. Mhm. Okay. Well, thank you for listening for 20 minutes. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I okay. Actually, sorry, before I respond, I want to get Sam in here and then we'll have the open panel. You sound young though. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Mhm. Well, I got you. Okay, and I respect the fact. You know what? And I respect the fact that you're young and you're willing to come on this panel and disagree. So at the very least, I'll give you that, brother. So with Trump talking about DEI and the plane crashes, I'll be honest. One of the things about Trump that I don't like is he's quick. He's very quick on the I don't know. I don't want to say that word. I think you can say this on TikTok. Trigger. He's very quick on it. Okay, so he very quickly said it was DEI. Now, was it DEI? Was it not? There was not an investigation. We don't know. We don't know who was. piloting those planes, and we don't know who was doing the air traffic control. Does Donald Trump have information that we don't have? Possibly, and maybe there's a reason he said that. But from an outsider's perspective, I can understand why you would criticize the fact that he immediately blamed DEI for that, because if he didn't have a credible source for that, that's a welcoming criticism. You could make that criticism. But on other aspects of American culture, like P Rock brought up earlier, quotas. Quotas is going to be a problem. It's kind of like parties in the American politician system. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember George Washington saying the two-party system was going to be the D of America, and it's accelerated that way. I wouldn't say it's there now, but it's gone that direction. DEI is. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, what does that have to do with anything? That's politics, yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with DEI. But go ahead and make your point. Just make your point. Is he allowed to be on here? Is he allowed to be on the? Okay, all right, appreciate it. I've seen that in other TikToks, and I didn't know if that was because I didn't know if that was like an age related thing or what. So thank you for letting me know that. Okay. Okay, I've seen that, and I didn't know if that was like every stream, but okay, all right. Thank you guys for that. Um, go ahead, Connor, since you were so helpful with that tip. Okay, all right, all right. It's unfortunate that that kid was so young, because I would love to have somebody up here that. Wait, so okay, Kay, let me circle back to you. So ultimately, you said you were confused, and we got mostly through your point, but I think you had a little bit there at the end that you wanted to finish on that you didn't get to. Am I right on that? Mm-hmm. Uh huh. Absolutely. I can't risk my account getting banned. I've done a lot of progress on this account in very short amount of time. I do not want to get a banned. But yes, I agree with you, Kay. I would have loved to hear his opinion. I wish he was a little bit older, because I would have loved to have him in here. And where's our girl Asteroid, P Rock? Where is she at? Dude, this would be a great topic for her to be on. Man. Yeah, what's up? Mm-hmm. Wait, wait, so yeah, so Kay, are you asking me what's the difference? Yeah, exactly. No. And dude, well, there's some wild stuff on Roblox. I don't know if you've seen where the government investigated Roblox and they came out with some wild stuff, because there's some weirdos on Roblox. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's the rules, but you know what? I get it. That's like when you go to the public gym and you can't play basketball with the kids that are under 18 because too many fights happen. You know what I mean? Same rules. Same rules. Um, okay, let's get back on topic. And for all the viewers watching, you can join in. I'm constantly watching this screen. If you want to hop in here and give your opinion, I don't care if you agree or disagree. I would prefer you disagree, but be honest with it. Also, thank you, Kay, for the likes. So, all right. Um, yeah, yeah, Stephanie, go ahead. Right. I agree. You know what, Stephanie? I agree with you. And you know what I think? Oh, there she is. There's Asteroid. What's up, Asteroid? Good to see you. So Stephanie, I agree. And you know what I think is the only way for us, both of us, to find a conclusion that we can both understand and agree upon is time. Okay. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people disagree with policies as they're happening, right? But the only way to understand if they work is time. You have to give it time, and then you'll find out if it failed or if it didn't. So that's where we're at, and we're gonna have to understand. We're gonna have to take a look, 2 years from now, even 3, 4 years from now, and see where DEI was implemented, if it had a negative or positive impact on that business or businesses / society, however you want to look at it. Asteroid, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you. I'm good, man. We were just talking about you. We were like, man, this prompt right here, I know it would get Asteroid going, and I would love to hear her opinion on it. So go it. So let me hear your. Yeah, what is that? What did you say? DEIA? Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Asteroid. Stephanie, go ahead and finish your point. I'm sorry, Stephanie. Can you hear me? Your audio just cut out. I'm not sure what point you were trying to make there. Uh oh. You okay? Did your internet cut out? Okay. Well, Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Are you back? Yes, yes. We can hear you now. Stephanie, we're gonna have to buy you a new phone, hon. I'm sorry. I think you that Samsung you got ain't working out. Are you with us, Steph? Okay, all right. We're just gonna have to move on, I think. Asteroid. So give us your take on this prompt. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, Asteroid, let me ask you a question. So, are you saying that she would get the job, or she could get the job but wouldn't be able to work it because of her wheelchair inaccessibility, or are you saying that she, because of DEIA, the hospital or wherever you work would be required to install a handicapped, I don't know what you would consider that, pushway, walkway, I don't know what you consider that, for her, so that way she could have the job. You know, so essentially, are you saying that DEIA would be installing that so that she could have that job? Or are you saying, what are you saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. Of course. So who do you think should pay for that if they install all of these things for her to be able to go to work? And I'm not arguing against you. I'm just curious on your mindset on this. Who do you think should pay for those additions so that way she can access her that workplace? So why would they hire them? So basically what you're saying is the federal government should force you to hire that person because they're disabled? Well, that's what DEI is, though. If you don't hire them, then you get. Hmm. Okay. Well, my whole thing is I don't understand because so if you implement DEIA, okay, and this person, like you say, is wheelchair bound and she's very capable of doing the job, she's just inaccessible of accessing her job. So therefore, somebody has to build this, okay? So you as an employer, you as the owner of the company, understand that you do not have wheelchair access, okay? And if you hire this person that either the government wants you to hire because of a quota and or you just want to hire this person out of the goodness of your heart. Well, well, there are, but let me just get through this. So let me just get through this. If you hire this person out of the goodness of your heart, then you have to face the fact that you're going to have that you yourself, based off your logic, you yourself are going to have to front the bill just for this person to be able to make you money. When in reality, you could just go hire somebody else that isn't in a wheelchair. And mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So why shouldn't the ADA pay for those improvements instead of the owner of the company? Well, maybe. I mean, that's not. Well, I mean, we already are partly socialism right now. I mean, we definitely are. What do you call government assistance? What do you call government assistance? Well, that's fine, but I'm just saying. Of course, right? Of course, but so does socialism. I don't understand what your point is. Right. Almost like paying taxes, right? No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not against. Look, it might come off like I was saying I was against partial socialism. Look, there's aspects of socialism that are redeemable. You just have to implement them correctly. And taxes are a form of that. I'm just saying. Well, what would you so okay, let me ask you this. What is your definition of socialism then? Okay. So what do you call the okay, stock market? What do you call the stock market? That's the same thing. S- So you think California paying all those taxes, they're not considered socialism? They're not a socialistic state? You wouldn't consider that a socialistic state? Okay. All right. All right. They're the what? Well, right. But do you know how much they pay in taxes if you live there? Yeah, that's my point. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Asteroid. I agree. I I mostly agree with that. I mostly agree with that. But you know what the problem you would have if you do that is the red states would all of a sudden not want to pay as much taxes as everybody else. We like that would be and that's part of if we're talking sorry, this is jumping ship a little bit. Talking about the international level and tariffs, that's essentially what Trump is doing on the international level. What you the argument you just made for California is the argument that Trump is making for pulling out of NATO and all of this and implementing tariffs because we've been getting screwed on an international level. I just wanted to throw that out there because I felt like that was too good of a point not to make. But mhm. You know how much we've been paying into NATO for the last 20 years? 80%. 80%. Well, we get things in return, but not what we pay out. Not even close. Our exports. Well, I understand. Look, I agree with you on that point. So because we make more money, we should be punished and pay more money into NATO? Because we're more successful, because we're more successful, we should be punished on the national level and be forced to pay everybody's bills? I agree. So Stephanie, do you know how do you know how much sorry, do you know how much of our entire GDP was exports last year? Do you know the percentage? If you had to take a guess, what would you say? I'm not gonna hold this to you. I'm not gonna hold this against you. I genuinely am curious. If you just had to throw out a number that you think more than likely United States makes in GDP exports a year, what would you think the percentage would be? 15%? Okay. All right. I think she might be having phone problems. Um Thank you, P Rock. 2%. That's what it is. 2% of our all of our GDP is exports. Let him finish. Yeah, let him finish, Asteroid. Go ahead, P Rock. Exactly. Exactly. They absolutely do. Asteroid, you brought up GDP. Asteroid, you brought up GDP. That's the only reason I brought up exports. That's the only reason. Pay their equal share. Exactly. That's the argument we're making. Okay. Thank you, Asteroid, for acknowledging that. I appreciate that. Yeah, Smokehouse, what's up, brother? Hey, where's your camera, man? You're my other camera guy. I need you to have your camera on. Get the hell out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not banning you. Stephanie, you did you I saw you unmute your mic a minute ago. I'm sorry. I was just teasing you earlier. I'm just giving you shit. I wasn't trying to be mean or anything when I said something about your phone. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm not gonna kick you out. You can stay in here as long as you can. Well, if you can get in here and your mic's gonna stay on, then I'll let you talk whenever you. I'll I'll have everybody else shut up so you can get your point out. Dude, it's TikTok. It's look, I don't blame you at all. It's TikTok. I understand. I hate this app that I'm using right now to stream. I hate it. It sucks. Anyway, go ahead, Steph. Oh God. Maybe. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect you. Try to come back in here, Steph. All right, there you go. Thank you, Steph, for the follow. I very much appreciate that. All right, yeah. And I think I can just invite her that way. We're having a good discussion tonight, you guys. I appreciate the talk. And Asteroid, you're great for coming back. You know, it's like a boxer. You just keep coming back for more, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I think so. I think so. All right, go ahead. Aw, man. All right. Well, yeah, we tried. Well, I'm not gonna kick you out. Just hang out in here, Stephanie. So, anyways, let's get a little bit more disrespectful. No, I'm just kidding. So let's see. We talked about. We're circling back here. Let's go back to tariffs. So yeah, yeah, you guys know all about the tariffs. Um, how do we feel about how do all of us feel on this panel right now about the tariff war and how it's going? Do we think Donald Trump is doing good? Do we think he's made progress in that area, or do we think he's regressed the country? Yes, go ahead, smoke. Right.
Bro, what the fuck? You gonna die, bitch?
Basically, in the Constitution Bill of Rights, it's our land, but the government has taken that and they are charging you a toll to use it. They have robbed you of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's look at tariffs. We have other countries. We don't charge as much tariff as other countries charge on us.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in that same analogy, you have other countries basically charging us more on the tariff for our products, and basically they are robbing from us like the government would rob us if we didn't pay our property tax.
You know what, Smoke? I'm gonna expand on that thought that I just had right now. I almost feel like it's purposeful because we brought up earlier the fact that only 2% of our entire GDP is exports, right? So imagine if you have a lobbyist politician, and now this is speculating and it's conspiracy, okay? So don't take it with a grain of salt. But imagine you have somebody come in and say, "Hey, politician, you only export 2% of your entire GDP as exports. Let me go ahead and just have that money." You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna miss it. Nobody will notice that it's gone. Just give me that money. You know what I mean? How often did that happen? It's because if you got to think like what was it? UK was a 10 or 12% tariff. Thank you, Jesse, for the follow. UK was like a 10 or 12% tariff. We had them at like a 2% tariff. Canada, they had our cars at like I don't know, 20% or 12%. It was something similar to what the UK had us at. Same thing for them, 2%. So exactly like you said, Smokehouse. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some money laundering involved in that.
Well, there is, most definitely. I mean, it's not something you can just readily prove up front, but
Right.
we just know in the corporate world that's how it works. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so you know that these countries are doing that very thing. And so with these tariffs, Trump's kind of putting a hiatus to it. Now, yeah, I mean they're bickering back and forth, but and the news media will just play a show. But you know, when you get to the root of the matter, a lot of these, but they still have to save face with their people because if they show weakness to their people, well, then they've lost the game for their country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that is. It's what we call a kissing match. It's kind of like when somebody gets their feelings hurt when they can't put a wiper blade on.
Oh. All right, coon ass, get the hell out of here.
But no, I agree with you. I do agree with you.
All right. Well, Oh, thank you, Louis Bonito. I don't know how to say your name, but thank you for that. So I guess, guys, this has been a little bit of I was excited for this show. I thought it was going to be a little bit more I don't know, fire packed. I thought people were going to have more to say about this, but everybody just agreed except for Asteroid and Steph. So a little underwhelming, but that's okay.
Steph disagreed. I mean, she agreed to a point, and then
Yeah. I think ultimately what we and Stephanie disagreed on was the fact that we don't know how it's going to play out. We don't know if DEI is going to be good or bad for the country because initially she thinks it will be good. I think it will have harmful effects. And we don't know until, like I said, time happens. Time passes. So
well, with Smokehouse's view on DEI.
yeah, let's get you. Yeah, we didn't hear your opinion on DEI. This episode was for you, and you came here late, Smokehouse.
No, man.
Anyways,
It's kind of like this. It's like let's take the root communism where they took the doctors out of the hospital and put them on the street, took the homeless person off the street, put them in the hospital to do surgery.
right? That's yeah.
So if we look at DEI, you are placing someone in a position not of their quality or their work, but of their gender or whatnot. Okay.
Mhm.
That's not what DEIA is, Smokehouse. That is literally not what DEIA is. All
That
it
is
does is
exactly what it
rise the pool. Well, it's frustrating for me because literally you guys keep repeating that as what DEIA is, and that's literally not what it is. You have to be a well qualified applicant to get the job. You don't you don't Blaze mentioned quotas earlier. It's not, oh, I need another black person on my staff. So even though he isn't as good as this white cis dude is, because I need that black person, I got to hire this less qualified black person. That's not what DEI is. If that black person is not as qualified to do the job as the white person, per DEIA standards, that white person has to get the job. It is not a meritless protocol. You have to be able to do the job. It just broadens the pool. That's all it does. It forces, and I hate to say this, but it forces racist cis white males from only hiring cis white males. It forces them to look at everybody and not the demographic they only want to employ, which is why it was instituted to begin with.
Okay.
Well, okay, so you take that, and what it is being used for. My wife.
You don't know what it's being used for. Do you work in a DEIA field? Do you?
No, not
If you
not
don't
in
work in a field, you don't know how the hiring process works.
but my wife works in a highly corporate field, and I see it daily. With her, you cannot, you can't even exist. Let me give you another example. She was wanting off for her religious exemption, so she could go to church on Wednesday night. Because they had changed her schedule and they had her work on Wednesday night, and they said, "Well, we'll see what we can do." There was another employee that was a homosexual that needed time off to go and do whatever it is homosexuals do.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
If you can't even name what the homosexual,
do what?
whatever. If you can't even
Oh.
you don't have a clue what it was about.
Oh my god.
Because that's personal private information. It's like her wanting an exemption.
Oh my god.
Night so that she could go to church on Wednesday night.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Now, hold on now.
I don't have a problem with that.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
I'm trying to keep this clean. I knew what he was going to do, do. He told her what he was going to go do. So there's no sense in bringing that portion out. My point is,
So wait a minute. So he asked for specific time off every week. Is that what you're saying? The same day off every week. Is that what you're saying?
no, not the same day off every week. But
Okay, unlike your wife who wanted every Wednesday off to go to church, and I'm not criticizing that at all. But she wanted a specific day every week not to work because of her Christian beliefs. But this guy over here wanted a couple days off because he was going to go do something that he wanted to do. That literally sounds like a vacation.
well, my
Which
point is,
everybody's allowed to do that.
my point is that under the First Amendment, as a matter of fact, June of 2023, the Supreme Court ruled that you do have to acknowledge religious exemptions. There was a clause in there that stated if it caused a hardship to the company, they didn't have to honor it, and companies abused that and just said, well, it's just going to be a hardship, and they refused it. The Supreme Court ruled June of 2023 that if it's going to be a hardship, you have to prove in writing and show the amount of loss that it will cost you in order for you to reject that religious exemption. Okay? Still, it
Okay,
was
well, I did not have anything against your wife asking for every Wednesday night off to go to church and the company giving it to her. I had no issue with that. If you can't cover one person one day during the week and shift the schedule around,
You need to hire more people.
yeah, well, either that or you don't know how to do a friggin' schedule, okay? Because you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to accommodate that. And
Well,
I didn't have a problem with that.
but the whole point is favoritism goes to the ones that are outside of the norm. Favoritism is shown to those because corporate companies are afraid of lawsuits and everything else. So your common American, red-blooded American that's lived this way for however many years, they're the ones that get discriminated against. They're the ones that have to take the blunt of the drama so that these special people get special treatment. That is what we're trying to cut out. Everybody is equal. Now we ought to all agree that.
Right.
Except the fact that all this gay guy wanted was a vacation. He wasn't asking for a specific day off that didn't fall under the criteria of what you can, which is mainly religious, mainly religious beliefs. You have to accommodate, people and what they do with their religion, and to a certain extent. I mean, but what he was doing sounded more like a vacation. So who gives a rat's ass? Everybody deserves a vacation, and I'm a firm believer that you get to do on your vacation what you want, whether or not your Christian bigot fellow employee agrees with it.
There you go. Oh, I said my live is gonna end in 5 minutes. We're gonna have to restart the stream because I actually want to go for another hour. Are y'all cool with that? Is everybody good? Okay. All right. I'm gonna restart the stream.
Okay, tag me because I'm not sure I'll be able to.
All right. I'll add you in the comments.
People on this app.
I got you. I'm new to it too. I'll add you in the comments. I don't know if it'll do anything, but we'll see.
Usually it'll.
Okay, we're live again. Okay. Let's get everybody in here. Oh, yeah, nobody's in here yet. There we go. We got somebody. Cap. What's up, Cap? General Cap. Mr. Cap. All you do is cap. There we go, Joe P-Rock. All right. Let's invite P-Rock. Get him in here. so we can go for another hour. Man, heck yeah. We haven't had a stream like this in a while. I don't know if we've ever had a stream where we go for 2 hours. I told y'all motherfuckers I would go for 2 hours to make it up for what day did I miss? What was that, Wednesday? Yeah, we missed Wednesday. Do what?
Where's everybody at? What the hell?
Well, they have to join up again. It takes a second. So, everybody who's new, we're gonna get a lot of new viewers. Hop in here if you disagree or agree, whatever you think about this prompt. Go ahead and hop in here. I think we're at the very beginning of people joining. If you don't mind, P-Rock, click on your screen so it counts as a like. Just double tap your screen one time and it counts as a like.
Here we go.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm pulling you up, Smokehouse. It's just the app sucks. All right, there we go. Boom. Let's hope Asteroid joins up because I'd love for her to finish her opinions on all of this. And everybody, go ahead and request up. I'm watching this screen. Whether you disagree or agree, we're going for another hour. We're going strong. Okay, here we go, P-Rock. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That little handsome devil there. Look at him go. Look at him. All right. Whether you agree or disagree, get up here and holler at your boy. Let's get some opinions going. BJ, he's loading up. I'm gonna keep this hovered over. What's going on, BJ? How are you doing?
No, that didn't last long.
Well, okay, all right. So DEI sucks is the prompt that I agree with. Okay, now I'm sure a lot of you are gonna have opinions on that, and if you do, request up, and I'll get you in here.
That Astros was talking about how, you know, the handicapped and everything else in DEI.
Uh-huh.
That means they come out with the Equal Opportunity Employer Act.
Well, of course. And that was one of the points that I was bringing up when she brought up the wheelchair-bound person who could not access her job because she's wheelchair-bound. And I asked, who's supposed to pay for that, the ADA or the owner of the company? She said the owner of the company. So you want the owner of the company to go out of their way to hire somebody who is wheelchair-bound, have to fork the payment to make it wheelchair accessible, and then hire this person? Why? Why would they do that? Asar Poppy. Man, that's one heck of a name, brother. What you got going on? Do you agree DEI sucks or do you disagree?
No, I disagree.
Okay, all right. Give us your opinion.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is important
Okay, how so?
because you get a chance to have all kinds of people participate and interact instead of just being a hegemony.
Okay. So do you believe in quotas? Do you I guess that's a loaded question. Let me start from the bottom. Do you believe that there are quotas that have been in place, and if so, do you believe said quotas should exist?
The federal government had a very specific mandate about creating the quotas, in particular how they did business. So I definitely agree, for sure, definitely.
Okay. So they should have quotas?
I think the government, when they do business and interact with the private sector, the federal government definitely needs to follow. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
All right.
yeah.
Okay. All right. We want to go ahead and get everybody's opinions in, and then we're going to have the open panel where everybody can discuss. So Lisa Chan, do you disagree with the prompt that we have here? Or do you agree?
No, I 100% agree.
Okay. And why so?
I don't want, like, I would rather me have been promoted when I was in the Marine Corps
Mm-hmm.
of what I did, not my sex or my race.
Okay.
That's commendable.
Okay. All right. And we lost Smokehouse. Smokehouse, request up.
He had to go.
Okay. All right. He was on the wifey's leash. He had to. She was pulling on him. All right. Rise Against. So do you agree or disagree with the prompt?
I disagree because I think that we had a history of segregation in America that did not work. So we know that when we have laws in place that say that separate is equal,
Mm-hmm.
we really fought against that in America. And I mean, my understanding is that everybody in America in 2025 agrees that we don't want to go back to that.
Can I ask you something? When you said
So let me ask you a question.
what? Whoa! Hold on.
Would you like to go back to segregation, and would you like the Supreme Court to rule that is the law in America, that separate is equal and that segregation is the law? Do you want to return to that? Yes or no?
Okay, so before I
Do you want to
listen, Rise Against. Don't make me mute you, bro. Okay, listen. What I'm gonna ask you is, what do you mean when you say separation? What did you say? Separation is equal, or what did you say?
The constitute for segregation was that it was to be separate but equal.
Okay,
Meaning
so
that
okay, thank
people
you.
on your side, yeah. So, but the reality was, even though we were separated, it wasn't equal.
Okay, all right.
Even though, so that's why the integration segregation was abolished, because even though we were separate, it wasn't equal.
Okay.
So that's why they showed.
Okay, thank you. I didn't understand what he was saying with that. So sorry, Poppy, because I don't know why Rise Against got so hostile with me. Can you tell me what his point was? Because either of you, whatever, whoever's going to be respectful.
then just put
I don't understand your point. I need you to clarify.
No, if you don't understand what I'm asking you, take down your life.
I'll tell you what. Get the fuck out of my live if you don't. None of that shit. Get the fuck out of here if you're not going to be respectful and actually tell me your point.
I think what he was trying to express, that there was a point in time where segregation was a tool that was used to maintain a livelihood,
Okay.
and it was okay. It was okay if you stayed over there on your side and I stay over here on my side, and you got the right amount of books and I got the right amount of books. And when it came to the federal kind of support, it was showing that no, it wasn't being equal.
Okay.
So that's why the Department of Education versus Brown, the desegregating of the schools, was because the black schools really didn't have the federal support, like books and money and food and to help
Okay.
everything, as the white schools.
Right. Okay.
Poor.
Gotcha.
So when he brought that, even in that integration, the attitudes and the actions were still being held.
It was disingenuous, essentially, is what you're saying. It was like a front for equality, when in reality, on the back page, nobody was being treated equal. Is what you're saying.
No. When we came integrated, the behaviors of being segregated still happened, and so when they instituted their affirmative action, it was an affirmative action. Like, now that we're integrated and you're still behaving as if we're segregated, here's a firm. We need to affirm this action of integration. That's where affirmative action comes, that fed into this idea of DEI. But yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying. Even though we might disagree, thank you for clarifying, because what you just said was a lot more understandable than whatever the fuck that other guy was saying, because I literally could not understand what he was saying. Sea Light, I want to go ahead and get your opinion, and then we'll have the open panel, because this is a good group of people that I would love to have a discussion with, as long as you're all okay. Cool.
I think just in general, I married a Canadian.
Mhm. Okay, cool, good. Thank you. I'd love to have that opinion in here. How do you feel about this?
So the issue is, like, my America did not believe in my rights or my husband's rights, because he had to move to Canada for a year to get a different visa to come in and be
When you-
an American citizen. He's
When you
now-
say his rights, do you mean like marriage, or what specifically?
So U.S. did not recognize marriage up until
12, I think.
Yes. No, but it was statewide, and then I think 2017 Biden passed the Marriage Equality Act.
Okay.
We rejected the DOMA Act. The issue becomes is like my husband's my husband, right?
I'm sorry. I am so sorry to interrupt you, but wasn't Biden and Obama against?
They were at first, and they eventually came around. So I agree with you that.
Right, like they eventually.
But anyway, I want to let him finish his point real quickly. So
Here's the thing: as a gay man, as a gay couple, as a gay married couple, like, look, we take our wins when we take our wins, right? Like,
Mhm.
they were against it before, and they come around. To me, that's a win. So, like, I don't want to get into politics about when they were, when they weren't, whatever. They eventually passed. Obama passed, like DOMA. He rejected DOMA, which allowed us to get married. Because at a New York level, we were married. But at
Mhm.
the federal level, we were not until he couldn't get citizenship until they passed or they decided to qualify DOMA, right?
Right.
So, like, for me, all this talk about, rights and all that, like, as a gay couple, we have been through the ringer, right?
Right.
It's been difficult. We finally are now married. Trump may take that away from us because
I don't think you have to worry about that.
I don't think he will like look back, but it's unfortunate that other people have to feel like that, right? Like where they cannot marry someone of the same sex. Kind of crazy.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I do have sympathy. But how much of that is things from the past versus how things have actually become? Because people have become very accepting of people of all different walks of life, Republican and Democrat.
You're in New York or Connecticut or whatever. Northeast is very accepting, right?
Mhm.
Other places are not as accepting, right? So like, although like I live in Chelsea, New York, right, which is a gay prominent area, it's very easy for me to walk around with holding my hand with my husband. But I also have a house in Connecticut, and in Connecticut, I don't feel as safe, right? Even though Connecticut is very democratic and very like, gay friendly, I don't feel safe. Although the neighborhood I live in is very safe, doesn't mean all Connecticut feels like that, right?
So I'm curious because this is a very genuine opinion that you have. What do you feel most unsafe about in general?
So most safe, what I feel most unsafe is that Trump is messing up with Canada and fucking up with Canada.
Okay.
Gender identity, trans is not in my purview, right? Like, I apologize for anybody that's trans on the call. Like,
Yeah.
lump everybody into one bucket. We're not one bucket. Like I'm a gay man.
Right.
Like, it's a very, very, very different experience. I have a therapist. We talk about this. Most of our calls, when she does have group calls, I stopped going to that because they were mostly trans, and I don't understand that world. I'm not being an ally, but I also don't understand that world.
Yes, okay, I understand completely what you're saying. Yes, 110%. Go for it.
Do they treat you any different at work?
They do not. Thankfully,
Are you qualified to do your job?
my job has been amazing with it, but the first 2 years, I've been in the company 12 years, believe it or not. I'm a lifer at my company. The first 2 years, my boss was Indian. Like, he was from India, and I did not feel comfortable coming out to him because he was Indian, and I passed judgment on him, thinking that he may not respect me because of the fact that I'm American, he's Indian, he may have different values, right?
Whoa.
A year, eventually he confronted me and asked me if I was gay, and I came out to him, and he was fine with it, which is great. But I also passed judgment on him.
Well, your boss has no business knowing that information. I mean, if you willingly give that up, that's your business, right? Like, I'm not judging that, but I'm just saying if he asks you, that's none of his business. That shouldn't matter, in my opinion, whether you're gay, straight, lesbian, whatever.
Exactly. Just as long as you're qualified to do the job.
You could have
Qualified to do his job. That's what
Qualified to do the job. That's all.
Exact. That's all that matters in my mind.
or you're a super religious person, and I'm not, again, I don't hold bias against religious people, but if you have a super religious person at the helm of your work, you got to be careful, right? Like, it's protecting me, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I will tell you guys that was really impactful is my dad. When I finally came out to my parents, they said, my dad told me, don't tell any of your employers you're gay because you're going to not proceed in the world.
I mean,
New Hampshire, a very white farm town.
well, depending on what area you're in, that might actually get you a job over somebody. Like if you're in New York, because what you're saying isn't.
Why is your sexuality even coming into play? It
Exactly.
should come into play. When you're going to a job interview, it's like, who are you having sex with? Are you having sex with them?
I agree with that.
It doesn't matter.
But bias is everywhere, right? Like bias.
Okay, I agree.
People or
Bias is everywhere, but when you're going into a job interview, nobody's asking you who you're having sex with. What the
Schmecks. It's TikTok language. But yes, so I feel like if you give that information up willingly, that's your business to give up. Like nobody.
you know what the thing is I now willingly give it up because I'm 44 years old.
Well,
I'm not afraid of
well, in that case, you're not a DEI. You're not DEI. You willingly gave up that information, and your employer found you willing, able to do the job, and you just so happen to be gay. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, let me ask a question. How would you feel about your job if you got hired only on the fact that you were gay?
That's a good question.
That is a good question, and I cannot answer that.
It's a very honest answer. Thank you thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think like here's the thing. Like, I'll be open and honest. Like, again, we always say this at our company, open, honest, constructive. Everybody is an individual, whether they're gay, straight, married, not married, black, white. Like, again, I think like in the end, it's the person, right? Like, it's always about the person.
And it's just like what Lisa said earlier. Whenever she said she got a promotion because she was a woman, she did not like it.
Yeah. So Lisa, go ahead, and I feel like you got something you want to say, and then Asar, we're gonna go back to you because you haven't spoken in a minute. So go ahead, Lisa, because I feel like you got something to say on this.
I got a lot to say.
keep it kind of brief. I'm gonna walk away and use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Go just.
Yeah, I got a lot to say. Right, so I don't want to ever think that I was promoted in the Marine Corps because I was a fucking female. I don't want to think that my husband was ever promoted because he's Korean or Asian, whatever you want to do it. Like, no, like that's just not fucking okay.
If I give you a thumbs up right now, I would totally do it. I can't do it on this, but I would totally give you.
I was promoted because I was fucking good at what I did.
There you go.
My husband was promoted because he is amazing at what he does. Like I don't want to take like this is a shit that I fucking hate. Like race, like sex, whatever. Like no, I did a damn good job at my job. I did amazing. I did.
And Lisa, is your company pulling back on DEI, or are they are they still supporting it? Because I think that's the bigger question, right? Like my company, I don't want to disclose my company, but my company has been so DEI focused for 10 years, not before the big.
But does that not hurt you? Like, are you good enough at your job to continue to get a higher position? Like,
So for me personally, our company recognizes DEI as a really big thing. They put it in our OKRs, like our goals every month. I go to a monthly meeting for DIBS. We call it DIBS, diversity, inclusion, whatever. But I still have that fear that someone's going to prejudge me without knowing me, right?
it's not, but that's the thing. It's like the DEI, like, fuck it. If you do your job well, then you do your job well, you're gonna get promoted. You're gonna continue to gain, positions in your company. That's what's gonna happen. I hate the fact that I even have to I'm retired, obviously.
It's a spreadsheet now. It's a spreadsheet now. Like companies, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? Like this whole thing became popular, so people started doing spreadsheets, and I was just like, this is not the way we should.
So see light. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. Are you acknowledging the fact that what was the term that we used, P-Rock? Quotas. That's the term that we used earlier, right? Quotas exist, right? We're acknowledging that.
I wasn't part of that conversation, but I would agree with there's quotas, and it's like that's not what it should be about. It's about performance. People.
Okay.
Yes. So you
That's we all agree on that. I think all of us agree on that.
There's and like as a gay white man, right? Like I shouldn't have any disabilities toward getting a promotion because of my sexuality. Just like someone shouldn't have that for their color or their love for somebody else.
Of course. And you know what? There's actually laws that actually, if you do that, if you discriminate, you can be criminally liable. That's a good point. Now trust me, I agree with you.
I would love to see that more than like the DEI numbers. Would like how many companies are fucking up?
And that's a hard number because like let's say that you hire a female employee, right? And let's say that 99% of your female employees are up to par, but this one isn't, and you fire her, and she sues, and she says discrimination, and only 10% of your workforce is female. Well, you keep 99% of all your female employees, but the one that got fired only represents 10% of the entire company. That looks like discrimination. And
see, like I tell you what, a prime example of what you were talking about was Bud Light a few years back.
Ooh.
That was a blue collar beer like you wouldn't believe, and then all of a sudden they pulled whatever.
yeah. And then they paid Shane Dawson or whatever his name is.
Their brand got like crazy, right? Like they dropped in sales. Like you had Kid Rock coming out and shooting Bud Light cans, right?
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Said white privilege is worse than DEI.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. Repeat that.
Somebody said white privilege. Jaren said white privilege is worse than DEI.
Yeah.
Can
I mean, maybe.
take over your airwaves, but like
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I was a manager at a very large internet company, and
Are you a white man?
I'll tell you what. Late and Lisa, I want to hear Asar because I think he wanted to get something in there. And good to see you again. What ? Good to see you. I recognize your name, by the way. You're a frequent here. But yeah, go ahead, Asar. I want to hear your opinion on this because you haven't had the chance to speak in a minute.
What exactly on the DEI?
Well, just the discussion that we're having here as far as quotas and whether they should be implemented or not, whether they're helpful.
I think that because that's such a nuanced question, I think it's reflective of the business that you're in. Because we're talking about labor. And we're talking about the inequity of labor and the compensation of that labor. And usually that's not coincided with the bottom line of a company's trying to make profit, as equal to people working for the government where it's not profit based but supported by
Okay.
taxes.
All right.
So when you have an equalizing interaction like the government, which stands for public or private, there are parameters to follow that would equal to the voting directorate.
Okay.
So the government is a public institution that represents the people. And so if the people have, like the citizenship has a certain amount of demographics of people, the public sector needs to reflect that demographic. In times past, with 13% black folk, 11%,
Whoa.
10%. Hold on, what I'm saying is those representatives within the government didn't represent the electorate. That's the public
Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
I feel halfway on that.
let me finish. Hold on, let me just say.
Yeah, let's let him finish. Let's let him finish.
So, yes. So because of that, the public's interaction or the government interacting with the electorate try to make a quota base to represent the entirety of the country. So this is where that comes. Private sector or businesses mimic what happens in the government. And so there are no quotas in private sectors that is even legal, because you're talking about it being discriminatory. Quotas are discriminatory. So they can't have specific quotas because they'll be held liable for that.
Well, if the federal government tells them that they have to, yeah, they have to.
There's no interaction of the federal government that's not participatory by the private. So that private company does not have to work with the government.
Sure.
So if the government so what I'm saying, so there is no, so if the government says, hey, you need 30% black people on your business if you want to get this contract. Now, if Home Depot says, no, I don't feel like I need to have 30% black people working at my company.
Right.
Then if Lowe's says, hey, I don't mind that, can I get that government contract? So this is so.
But wouldn't you say that's a conflict of interest?
No, it's not, because the private sector does not follow the parameters of a bottom line that a public sector does, because it's a tax-based institution.
But so what you're saying is we're incentivizing people who are willing to sign on to. We might not be making it mandatory, but we're giving a helping hand to those who do involve themselves into DEI.
It's not incentive, it's business. If you want to do business,
It's the same thing, though.
No, it's not, because there are other people in this free market economy that would take that business from the government. You don't have
Of course.
a private company. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, you're asking about quotas. What I'm saying is, in the private sector, there are no quotas because that is illegal.
Well, from the federal government. Go ahead, Asteroid. But I just want to clarify. Do you mean from the federal government?
No. In a private company, they do not have quotas. That is illegal.
Sure. But if the federal government says if you hire 30% black people or 30% Indian, whatever, if you hire 30% of this demographic that we want, we will give you this business over somebody else. So the quickest that they can get their 30% gets the deal, right? It's incentive. It's the same thing.
But you gotta understand that that's how business is done.
Sure. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that's a conflict of interest because that's the government directly incentivizing DEI. If you want to say it's not a federal program, you can't say that because if they're incentivizing that, that's essentially the same thing as a federal program. They're forcing you into that situation. If you want to make money, this is what you have to do.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, so you're conflating. The government is to be the representation of the people.
Okay.
There have been points in time when the government has been established. It did not properly represent the electorate.
Okay.
Just to be straight, it was all white.
I'm hearing you on that. I'm hearing you on that. I'm following.
Okay. So for the government to collect the taxes of the people so that they don't overthrow them, so they don't get taxation without representation, which started all of this, I'm gonna have to institute a certain amount of non-white people in here, because I do not want a revolution of the people saying, hey, don't tax me without having somebody
But
who represents me.
I don't think enough people feel that way that it would be a revolution.
What I'm letting you we descend from people who like to revolt. Remember?
Sure, sure.
We don't mind revolting with each other.
But so Poppy, just take a deep breath. Just we're not nobody's upset. Okay, I just want to. I got you. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, brother. I'm feeling it. No, you're not lying. I think you're speaking from the heart, and that's why you're so passionate. Lisa, go ahead. I think you have something you want to add to this.
So yeah, 100%. Right? Again, like I've said, I'm a Marine. My husband's a Marine. Like, we get it. Like, there are things that are happening in the government right now, and like in the House and the Senate and everything else that are happening right now. However, those of us that have or those people that voted one way or the other are on that. Like, they are supporting it, and that's okay. What, right? Yeah. What we're seeing is like it's not what is actually happening.
As far as DEI, like expand upon that thought.
Can I just chime in?
Yeah, yeah.
Progress over the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know if you felt it at your company, but my company, we made so much progress. It's a prerogative for our company. And even when our president came out January 20th and came out and said DEI is not a big thing, our company has still, our CEO, I don't want to talk for him, and I shouldn't be talking about this because it is a company.
Keep it vague. Keep it vague.
But he was like, DEI is not going away. This has always been a part of our culture. We will never let it go. And like, that's one thing that I love about working with my company. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of other companies in the shadows. They fear this. They like go behind the scenes. My company has been so still front, like we want to do this, and we will continue to do this.
So you said improvement.
Says like we are going to do it, and my company is probably one of the only. I don't know if they've publicly come out and said that they're doing it, but they are internally doing it.
So I want you to expand upon something that you said. You said improvement. So when you mean improvement, what specifically do you mean?
So improvement will be many years ago, tech companies got kind of a check sheet, right? Like they were like, how many Google employees are this? How many Google employees are that? Or how many Meta?
Keep it vague. I'm just curious. Do you work at like a hospital? Is it like where do you like a tech?
No, so I work in tech.
Okay, cool. Okay, gotcha.
So I work in tech, right? So tech was very, very open with sharing. Well, they open with sharing with their stuff, but they weren't because their numbers weren't matching up with what was expected, right? And so many companies like Google and Meta and all these tried to put in plans to expand their DEI like initiatives, whether it be women in leadership roles or gay.
I'm so sorry, and I hate to cut you off, but like, I want to be as a fucking sorry again.
You're fine. You can say that word. I don't care.
As a fucking female Marine, I want to be like, I want to be who I am. I want to be like justified by who I am, not the color of my skin, not my even in my job. I don't want to be classified as a white female, as a female.
You know what, Lisa? Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Do you think if you were now this is a very generalized question. I know nothing about you. This is literally I'm asking you personally. Do you think if you were a man, you would have been hired on the same job that you have now, even if you weren't a woman?
Oh, so I'm actually retired.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 100%. If I
okay.
Was the same, like if I was a man and as a woman, 100%.
So you think your work was enough for somebody to look at and say, yes, this person did a good job and they got this job based on their quality of work. It wasn't based on the fact that you're a woman.
Right.
Okay.
If there was any, and if anybody told me differently, if the Marine Corps was to come back and tell me, oh no, you only got this because you were a female, I'd be like, fuck you, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I was just curious on your opinion on that. Thank you.
I love you. So,
Did you just say I love you?
I do love her.
All right, go ahead. I just thought that was funny. Go ahead.
Can I tell you DEI, how it actually has impacted me, though? As a manager, many years ago, I worked at a very large internet company, and I could not fire a black person. As a white man, I could not fire a black person.
Good.
Because of DEI. And that's where I got...
Okay, so whoever said, I assume it was Asar, you said good?
Yeah, good.
Okay. So explain your thought process. Hold on, Seelite. I want to see what he said. Explain your thought process on that.
So she was failing at Metro. Okay. I worked with her to get her, so I had to put her on a PIP. If anybody doesn't know, it's a performance sorry. PIP is performance implement. Sorry.
You good?
Yes. But me and her met, and I was like, girl, I'm working with you. Like, let's get us together. Do you want to be here? Or you not want to be here?
Thank you, Lisa. Good to see you. Hope you follow before you leave.
Oh yeah.
But my company restricted
Thank you.
from my manager came to me saying we cannot let her go. But I was like, she's not performing it. So I put her on a PIP, performance whatever plan. And I worked with her and I was like, do you want to be here? She's like, yes. And this girl performed. Like after she performed, I was like, this is great. As a manager, you want to see this, right? Like you have a conversation, girl, you're not performing good, but we need you here. Can you get here? And if you can get here, I'm happy with you. She performed so well. But the thing that stood out, this is when I was a manager at 25 years old. My company said you can't fire her because she's like one of the only black people that work here. I'm like, but that's also not good, right? Like,
Right. So I think part of that might speak.
right? Like it goes both ways. Like if she's not performing, whatever, and like.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I'm sorry, Ars. I'm sorry. I know I told you, Poppy, that you could go next, and I'm so sorry because I told you that. But Asteroid has not gotten a word in edgewise on this stream, so I want to get her in, and then I swear to you, we're gonna get you after her. Nobody else is gonna go after her. Whatever she says, nobody's gonna have a chance to respond. You go next, okay? Go ahead, Asteroid.
Yeah. I want to ask whatever your name is. And Blade, he doesn't have to answer it right away. Fairly simple question. You said you were the manager of this young lady that wasn't performing well. And prior to going to upper management and wanting to terminate her because she wasn't performing well, did you implement your PIP first? I mean, did you literally go to her first? Okay. So you went to her first. Wait, I'm not done. You said yes. You answered the question. Okay. So you went to her with your plan and instituted everything you did after talking to management, and she still didn't perform. That's what I'm getting. Because
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but yes, she was very objective for it. And I told her in a one-on-one, we are two-way street. I have this for my goal, from my leadership. I have goals. I have quarterly goals I have to hit. So I went up to her, and I think this is the best thing that any manager can do.
be very super transparent. Like, oh, to be transparent. Like, you didn't do this, this, and this, right? So she didn't do X, Y, Z. That's why she got in a point. I put it in. She had a child, a 4-year-old child, and she had to go to daycare to pick him up. And I was like, okay, well, we'll work on that. Like, we can figure out your schedule. But when we was at a meeting, I was like, this is a two-way street. This is not a one-way street. I want you to be here. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. But, so she raised her hand, said, I want to be here. So we worked together as a management team, as me and her, saying, hey, do you want to be here? Do you want to perform? That girl, the next quarter, performed the highest. And all of my other people.
I get what you're saying. Part of being a good manager, because I've been there. I mean, I haven't been a manager, but I was assistant manager at a Fortune 500 company, right? Retail store. And part of being a good manager is seeing the potential in your employees, and if they're having issues that they are unable to meet the criteria, working within what they do have to get them there if they sincerely want the job. She apparently has tons of potential, and which is why she's now, like you said, the next quarter, doing exceedingly well.
It's gonna feed you well, right? Treat them well early, they'll treat you well later, right?
But
like, get them.
My point is, I find it hard to believe that upper management literally said we can't fire her. She's the only black person here. Why? Because technically that statement is against the law. You
Well,
It was like we couldn't, and I was like, okay. So again, this is me at 24.
if you're a company that believes in DEI, that's definitely believable. Sorry, not to cut you off. I just wanted to throw that in there.
15 years ago, right?
doesn't have anything. DEI has to do with business.
It absolutely does.
I'm not going to keep going around and round. The DEI is affirmative action.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have one black employee and you fire them, what does that look like? Let's be honest. It looks really, really, really bad. Yeah, it looks really bad. You cannot fire that person. You literally, it doesn't matter what they do. You cannot fire that person based on DEI principles. So anyway, go ahead.
That was 15 years ago, right? Like, now we're like a new age. Like, you don't fire people for like that. Like, but that was 15 years ago. That's what I had to deal with. As a gay man, like, trying to, like, literally put this girl with no paycheck, like, to figure out her life. Like, that's not me. Like, I went half and half. I was like, I told her, like, you want to work on this or you want to leave? Like, let's work on it, because I think you are, like, again, 6 months later, all the salespeople, like, this girl is amazing. She's our best employee. I'm like, I know. She is. Because someone post her and be like, post her in the ass and say, hey, do this. And she became, I'm not kidding you, within 2 years, she became my best employee. Like, as ratings, she became my best employee.
So what do you think the essential part of that story is? The fact that DEI gave her that opportunity essentially over time to become what she eventually became, or that she worked herself into that spot, and because she worked so hard and improved herself, that's what got her to the spot and not DEI? She worked herself to the spot and DEI did not propel her there. Okay.
No, she needed concession. She needed concession because she was a black woman.
A helping hand. Like, hey girl, you're good. You
So essentially she had a helping hand because of DEI, but because of her hard work, that is what essentially gave her the DEI opportunity. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. She could be white or black or purple. I don't care.
Her hard work is what got her there.
She is exactly.
But do you agree? So I think I'm trying to understand the difference between you and Asar Poppy. Do you believe that if DEI had never existed, was never a thing that we had ever heard about, she, based on her own hard work and nothing else, would have gotten that same position? Or DEI being implemented is what, combined with her hard work, got her to that point? What do you believe?
Have a manager like me. Sorry, not to like interact, but I'm gonna say.
I want to hear your opinion first and then Asar.
Okay, I respect her, and I respect her wanting to be that. Like, and because I'm part of the marginalized community, I gave her that.
I'm not understanding what you. I'm going to be honest with you, and don't take this as disrespect because it's not. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. It's like a fence-sitter opinion because you're essentially what you're saying is she's in between somewhere of working hard, therefore gaining the position she got, and in between DEI, where because she was overlooked because of her skin color, she needed the. Okay. Because of you yourself being her manager gave her that push. Okay, I can understand that. Okay, so it wasn't necessarily DEI. It was just she was fortunate enough to have you as her manager, and that's what helped her. Okay, I understand that.
A place where people don't respect my sexuality or whatever.
Mhm.
Right? So
Mhm.
I'm in that same boat. So I'm sitting there like, oh, this girl like needs to like clean it up. She cleaned it up. She cleaned it up. Great. But I'm also like marginalized, right? As a community.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say that she needs to get concession because she's a black woman. Because you are a gay male, you understand that you may need concession. And the fact that you did give that concession, even though you were like, wait, she's misperforming, and the redirect was, we can't fire the only black person working here. And why would be the impetus to even say that?
Exactly.
Because, okay, so let me give you the impetus.
Okay, okay.
Why even say that?
Okay.
Here we go. Just hold on now. Let me just.
I'm listening, brother. I promise. I'm listening. I listen to everybody. I promise. I don't care.
Here we go. All black folk that you come across in America descend from slaves. We descend from the labor force that was not compensated.
That were also sold from their own ancestors.
Hold on. Can I finish my thought?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me finish. Okay. So, okay. Yeah.
Go ahead. Let him finish. Ignore it. Let him finish.
Yes. So what I'm saying is because we descend from a labor force that was not compensated for centuries. If you come across a descendant who descend from that and it's in a labor situation, give them a concession because for a very long time they did not get that. And if you do give that, for this example, if you give that concession, look what wind up happening.
Okay. Well, hold on. I want to respond to this. Finish your thought, and then I want to respond.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that yes, man. If somebody is black and you come across them in America, give them some concession. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, C.
Sorry. My girl went from worse.
All black people.
All I want to say. I'm sorry. I'm over talking to you, person. But she went from like literally the worst performing person to the highest performing. I'm not kidding. Highest performing.
Yeah. Exactly. Here's my point. If you give that concession.
But here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. She was not easy, and I was like, look, like it's a two-way road.
Well, I agree with you. I think there's a lack of.
It's okay, but tell me why you're not performing, and I'm going to tell you why. This is what's wrong with America. These big companies, they have these goals set for these people, and the people can't reach them because they're so high. Right? I told her, like, if you don't want to reach them, you don't have to.
P-Rock.
Work with me, and I'll
trying to get you there. And
What's
she's
wrong
like,
with
yeah.
America?
P-Rock, are you ready? I want you to, bro. I know you got something. I know you got something loaded. Go ahead.
Live, no one else.
he go. He already started talking. Go ahead, P-Rock.
You guys know what an anecdote is?
Anecdote? Yes, of course.
So basically, everything you're talking about in the last 5 or 10 minutes is an anecdote.
Sure. Everything is hearsay, right? Because none of us are DEI hires, right?
You know the difference between hearsay and an anecdote?
What? What's the difference? No, I don't know the difference. What is it?
Are you serious, dude?
Well, sure, but I want to hear your example.
No. So
An example and an anecdote. An example is somebody who tells you an example of something they found, and an anecdote is a first-person example. Thank you very much. I understand what that is. I don't.
Specifically, hearsay in an anecdote.
I didn't say anything hearsay and anecdote. I don't know who you're talking to.
Do you know what an anecdote is?
Who said anecdote? I'm about to kick you if you don't explain who said anecdote, because I didn't say anecdote.
I'm saying anecdote, my friend. Do you know what an anecdote is?
Sure, yeah.
Apparently you don't. Because you think hearsay is the same thing as an anecdote.
An anecdote is a direct quote.
No, and that's no.
Tell me what an anecdote is. It's basically a quote from a quote that somebody gathered from researching. That is what an anecdote is. You're not gonna try to make me look stupid by trying to use words that you yourself don't understand. You're on my stream, okay? Like, you're not gonna try to make me look any kind of way.
No, you made yourself look that way because you don't know what an anecdote is, dude.
Explain yourself then.
Why?
Explain yourself. I will give you the opportunity to explain yourself. Go ahead.
No, I'm asking you if you know what an anecdote is.
I just answered your question. Tell me what your response is.
No, you literally don't know what an anecdote is.
An anecdote is when somebody looks up something and they find a quote and they give a secondhand quote. That is literally what an anecdote is. You take a. Please, somebody enlighten me then. Tell me what an anecdote is.
You're so fucking dumb. You don't even know what an anecdote is.
You just come in here to stir up shit because you don't agree with the fucking prompt. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Get out of here.
Story about a real incident or a person. It's like on lives when people give anecdotal information of what personally happened to them. That's what an anecdote is.
Okay.
Lisa, I love you. You're from New York. I want to meet you. You're amazing.
I'm just saying, bro's gonna come in here and talking about anecdote like I'm fucking uneducated, bro. Like, anyway.
There was a comment that was said.
Just dumbass doesn't even know what an anecdote is. Like, bro.
I just wanted to add.
Go ahead, Osar Poppy.
There was a comment said bring DEI back to the FAA. The planes were working fine during DEI. Was before DEI was.
Who said that? I'm looking for it.
Lady Nightmare.
Lady Nightmare. Okay, I'm looking.
Yeah, let me give a point of fact. The reason why the response of Trump was saying that it was DEI and the problems with the air traffic control, because the point of fact is that the majority of retired black female airmen joined the FAA. And when he went up into those traffic controls, he started seeing a lot of black women who have historically been the majority of the air traffic controls. I know this, I speak this from personal seeing. So a lot of retired veterans, specifically from TACC and from that director of the airmen, a lot of them are black women, and when they go into the private sector, they join the FAA, and a lot of those air traffic controls or a lot of them are black women. So when he came up in there to look at the air traffic controllers, he saw quite a few black women up there. He turned around and said, man, it was one of them up there, and there's only reason why black women are even around is because of the DEI.
Who said that? Hold on, and see. Hold on, wait. Who said that? No, see, wait. Trump said that?
When he was asked why are these planes flying, what's going on with the air traffic control?
Okay, yeah. I remember that.
He said, he said,
And I will be the first to admit to you guys, as the host of this stream, I will be the first to admit to you guys, I did not. No, you're fine. I do not appreciate the fact that Donald Trump made that accusation without making further investigations first, because we all know that no investigations were made. So.
But there was
The new one. Sorry, can I?
Hold on one second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on one second. Let me just add this. Because when he observed and looked and asked for the personnel of the air traffic controllers, it was a majority. It was a 6-woman. They were all black women. So when he saw that, he turned around and was like, "Wait a minute, we're all black women." I just want to give. Hold on. I just want to give the history. Is that the majority of air traffic control, specifically in the FAA, are black women because they retire from serving as airmen in the Air Force, and it's a better transition for them. And historically, for at least the last 30 years, a lot of them are filled with ex-veteran black women who served in the Air Force. That's why.
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily about like the percentages that are black versus white versus Asian, whatever. But I do know that Elon actually made a tweet asking for retired FAA people to come back because they were out of employees and they needed a lot of employees. So a percentage of that probably was DEI, but if you got to fill in the spot, you got to fill in the spot.
No, the ones who were retiring that he was calling back were white men.
It was just white men.
No, the majority of the ones that were retiring as FAA who never served. There is a big correlation of the people who served as veterans as Air Force, in particular from TACC, it's directed in the Air Force, and they transitioned to finding work out after being veterans.
Okay.
Public sector in the FAA.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is when he said we need the retired ones to come back, that workforce of them retiring was replaced by these black women retiring from the Air Force.
Okay. All right. So are you saying that essentially the airlines are going to improve because of these hires? Is that what you're saying? Or
what I'm trying to say is that they've been there for the last 15, 20 years. They had never had no issues up until the last 2 months.
Okay. All right. That's a fair criticism.
Blaze, it has nothing to do with improving. These women came out of the Air Force with the knowledge needing to be that they needed to be an air traffic controller.
Okay.
They fit the criteria better than anybody else.
So let me ask you something, Asteroid. What makes them a DEI hire in that? So what? I don't understand what y'all are because in that instance we both. Well, nobody's saying just because of their skin color.
That's another way of saying it. And the other thing is, DEI is another way.
Well, one at a time. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Keep thinking the DEI is a requirement for companies to hire people that are not this white men. So everybody else falls in those other categories. That is not what DEI
Well, sure. But you're following.
Let me finish, please.
Sure.
DEI is giving everybody that qualifies for that job the ability to get the job.
Right. Okay. So if you're saying that, then essentially, if this woman was qualified to do the job and was hired strictly on the fact that of her skin color didn't agree with whatever they wanted, that in itself is a federal lawsuit that is protected by the federal government. And based on what you're telling me, this woman was very qualified to do the job, so she should have gotten the job. She is not a DEI hire.
That's right.
No,
That's what I'm
because
telling you.
DEI.
It just because back in the day, now you don't remember because you're young.
Yeah, I am.
I went. It's not a fault. I'm jealous. God's living longer into our dictatorship, to be perfectly honest. We'll see how it ends up. Back in the day, in the early '80s, when the air traffic controllers that were all white, okay, the majority of them
Okay,
were white,
I'm following.
went on strike for better pay. And where I worked at the time was in Washington State. There was one of the air traffic control centers 2 blocks from where I worked. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they handled a lot of things out of SeaTac. Basically Washington State, the Northwest, out into the Pacific. Okay?
Gotcha.
They went on strike, and Reagan fired them all.
Yes, he
Because
did.
basically he considered them federal employees. Federal employees can't go on strike. So, but that was just Reagan trying to bust the union.
I actually know nothing about that, to be honest.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Back in the
That's right.
day, they were all white. Okay, now the military wasn't as broad as it is now.
Mhm.
Okay, when it comes to allowing people of marginal communities to excel at, there was a day when the Marines were only men, and
Mhm.
the Air Force were only men and white.
Mhm.
When the Army would, let black people in, but they had to be in a segregated.
Sure.
Okay, so what Poppy is saying, since they have integrated our forces and these people that are not cis white male
Okay.
have gone out and learned the ability to do these things, they are now getting into fields that have always been predominantly held by white men. Those were the people Trump let go, thinking they were DEI hires. No, they were there based on their skill and knowledge, and they qualified for the job.
Okay.
We didn't have a whole lot of recs during Trump's first term either. Okay, it's been like 16 years up until right after Trump did this that we had any recs and any airplane crashes in this.
Okay.
country, even
All right.
his first term, because he left the FAA alone and let them do what they were doing. It wasn't until he went in there and started just seeing all these people that were cis white male, and sorry I have to keep using that term.
That's fine.
What it is, that he starts getting rid of all these, what you guys want to say are DEI hires. They're not DEI hires. All DEI does is just broaden the field. They
So-
still have to have the skill to do the job.
So based off of the woman that you and Osser Poppy described to me, she is not a DEI hire. She sounds like a woman who was based off of her merit and her skill, and she was capable of doing the job.
So the question you're asking, Blaze, is why would you say something about DEI? Because the real truth of the matter is that DEI is a way to say something about
The
black
truth-
people without getting in trouble.
No.
Getting rid of black- No. Let me just finish. The way for you to talk about black people and discriminate about black people and not get in trouble for it. is to
Poppy,
say DEI.
you want to know my honest opinion to that, to what you just said? That's very self-centered, and the fact that you think it pertains to specifically black people speaks on your insecurities, because I am not speaking on just black people. It is Native Americans, it is Asian Americans, it is all types of immigrants. Okay, that is what DEI itself. Hold on, no. I'm the host. Everybody's gonna be quiet when I need them to. Okay, so I'm making a point. What I need y'all to understand is it does not pertain to one specific identity. It pertains to all specific identities that are not white, cisgendered males, okay? We understand that is the popular in America. That is what's popular, okay? That is the majority. We understand that. Let's push past that and understand that, yes, there are percentages, but that does not make up the entire percentage of what we are talking about when it covers DEI. Black people are not the only people that are covered in the DEI policies, okay? And we are not saying that people who are covered under DEI are unqualified. We are not saying that. We are saying that based on DEI logic, people who are white or whatever you want to base on the majority of this country, wealth-wise, is getting an upper hand, those people are going to be rejected based on the fact that they come from upper wealth. That, if we want to say life is not fair, I agree with you, okay? Trust me, I agree with that. But we cannot say that it pertains to one specific identity, such as black people. It does not pertain to one specific. Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make that point.
Hey, hang on, Poppy, wait 1 second.
Go ahead.
Blaze, do you have
Sure.
an example of this?
Not me personally. No, I work as a mechanic, so I do not have this. No.
So you don't. You went on this whole big rant to explain something, and what you explained, you don't have any examples of.
Me personally, no, of course not.
Okay, so well, it doesn't have to. You have any other examples? Anything?
Sure, the federal government.
Where?
Percentages. What do you mean? DEI is a federal thing that has been implemented since 2022.
You talked 1 second. I'm asking for a specific example of a person of color getting a job over a white person that they didn't deserve that job.
That is what DEI essentially is.
No, again, hang on. I'm asking for an example.
I'm telling you what DEI is. I don't have it. You already asked me if I have a specific example in my personal life. No, I don't.
Again, doesn't have to be your personal life. I'm okay with it not being your personal life. I'm asking for any example that you could give me that we can.
Sure. KGP. How about that? Let's start with that. KGP.
So when I type this into Google,
Karine Jean Perret. How about we start with that?
okay. So
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next point.
hang on. Why are we? I'm literally typing it into Google. Why
Sure,
are we
go ahead.
changing
Sure, go ahead.
the subject?
Because I have a show to run. I have to keep this entertaining. I don't have time for you to Google things that you didn't Google before you came on this panel.
We can't fact check.
Fact check me all you want. Fact check me all you want. P-Rock, hop into this if you want.
Let me just add to what you said. Let me just add. Hold on. Let me just add.
Sure, go ahead.
Point that
Go
you
ahead.
made,
Go
Blaze,
ahead.
About DEI not really being about black people because there's a whole bunch of other people that are marginalized as part of DEI.
Sure.
And I think what Rugg is trying to ask for is that even though in the rhetoric of DEI that is not just black people,
Mhm.
the overwhelming functioning experience is by black people.
Okay, now that.
It's by minority sounding.
Okay, so if you want to. Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is the ability to lump, and this became the issue with the understanding of minority, because the original rhetoric was for black people, and then they changed black people to minority so they can lump it together. This is known as
Yeah,
benign neglect.
okay.
This is known-
Disabilities and
so this
veterans,
is-
by the way.
Right, exactly. So what I'm saying is that there's a certain sense of benign neglect for black folk when it disproportionately affects black folk.
So sure.
And the push against, for the example, of DEI, because hey, we're talking about everyone else, not just black folk, but the majority of those who are affected are black people.
Go ahead, Asteroid.
I understand what you're saying, Poppy, but the subcategory, the marginalized category that was helped the most by implementing DEIA programs, just like affirmative action, was white women.
White women. Yes, I agree. Yes, exactly. I'm speaking about the adverse effects of discrimination. So even though the minority lumps, yes, even though there's multiple people that are minorities, regardless of, because originally it was just black folk, So, but then says, hey man, we're not just discriminating against black folk, we're discriminating against everybody.
Well, sure. I identify that there are far right, like definitely. I agree. Sure.
But see,
I'm still just waiting on examples.
What did Asteroid just said though? But when it came to try to make that right, the ones who wound up benefiting from it were white women. So even when okay, I agree, black people, yeah, you know what, you're right. So when we did try to help, guess who wound up benefiting? Not black folk.
I could, you know what? I understand that opinion. Actually, I understand that opinion.
All right. So DEI is another way of saying anti-blackness.
So okay, go ahead.
Blaze, I think what Poppy is saying, which I totally agree with, when DEI became a thing with Trump, and especially within the black or within his administration, is a way of saying get those N-words out of here without literally saying it. And I think that's what he means.
With
Literally with the Trump administration and the rhetoric of the Republicans, that's what it is. When white men talk about DEI, they are literally thinking they're being polite, but what they're really, and I'm not calling you a racist. I'm not.
Of course not.
That is what is going on, but that is why this started.
Thank you.
Well, another way
Asteroid.
of saying the N-word without having to say it.
They just
So-
called Bill Burr's, they just called Bill Burr's wife a DEI wife. They said, get your DEI wife out of here when she started speaking up against the Trump administration. What everybody else heard was
She's a
get
black
the
woman.
N-word wife out of here. That's
And
what
she's
they
a
meant
black
to say.
woman.
Okay, so shit, I had something I was gonna say and I totally forgot to Asteroid because I was listening.
I got balance. Asteroid, Poppy, y'all are better people than I am. Blaze, your opinion's shit.
Cool. Sounds good. Hey, I appreciate the follow. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so people like that can get out of here. So let me get back on track. So what you and Asteroid are saying essentially is the people who benefited the most from DEI were white women because they pled the case that they were the most discriminated against, or whatever that be, whoever pleaded the case.
The white women benefited from DEI because they were used by white men to supplant black folks.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so essentially, what do you think as far as if we implement DEI, okay, going forward? And I'm asking you this as are you a liberal? I don't want to assume anything. Did you vote for Joe Biden or I don't want to ask you that. Okay.
Black men in America. I voted for the black woman.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, understandable. So shit, I don't even remember what the question I was going to ask is because I'm looking at so much stuff.
You are the black man that voted for the black woman. So, is that statement true? Is that how you voted? You voted as a black man for a black woman.
Yes.
Is that actually how you voted?
Yes, I voted for her because she was a black woman.
Didn't matter what her policies were.
No.
Wow.
Hey, Barbara Heath, we have the same last name. Just pointing that out. Sorry, not to interrupt the stream. Y'all keep going. That's weird.
I was white because I voted for Donald Trump.
Wait a minute. Wait. Do you know how many? And they've expressed this.
That was
racist white supremacists. Let me finish. You know how many racist white supremacists that show up to Trump?
I'm not even going to respond to you, man. That was the worst answer I've ever heard.
Hold on. There's nothing
I'm not
wrong
gonna
with
respond
me
to you.
supporting. I don't think you should, because just as equal amount of racist white people who support Trump for him being white, I support Kamala Harris because she's a black woman.
So that
That's
makes
okay.
you better. That makes you better.
No. That makes me an American. I have a choice.
Well, hold on, politics. Hold on, Poppy. I don't want to have to kick anybody. Y'all just go ahead and listen, okay? Let's be fair.
I'm an American. I'm an American, and it's my prerogative.
Regardless of her qualifications, you're gonna just vote for her simply because she's black. It doesn't matter.
Now hold on, Barbara. Hold on, Barbara, in politics. I want to hear Osser's Poppy's specific example on why he believes the way that he believes. I just want to hear that real quick.
I'm an American, and I have the right, as a citizen, to pick who I want for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
The reason that so the reason I pick Kamala Harris because she's a black woman.
Okay.
That's it.
And you have your right to that opinion, and nobody can take that from you. That's fine. So, Osser, the only thing that I want to say, hold on, politics. The only thing that I want to say in response to that is, as long as you don't feel as though you are free of criticism, then we can move forward. You have your opinion. Okay, all right. You can have your opinion.
I think you can tell that I'm very articulate.
Yes.
I can expound my opinion and my decision.
You have passion and specific reason why you feel the way you believe, even though it might not necessarily agree with everybody who opposes what you have to say. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. I'm gonna unmute you, politics, because I don't know if you can unmute yourself, but I just wanted to get that out there. Okay.
I appreciate that, but my only question here is, you have the right as an American to vote for whoever you want for whatever reason you want, and I, as an American, fully support your reason for voting for any candidate for any given reason at any given time, date, election.
Thank you.
I support all of that. I support what I actually get mad about in real life is people who don't vote. I don't care if you don't.
Yeah.
Go vote. Go make a write-in.
I agree.
Sign your name on the ballot. Go do your civic duty to go vote. I don't care if you don't like both candidates. You have other candidates. You can vote for somebody who's going to completely lose the election and never win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can vote for that person anytime.
One at a time.
Hold up. Exactly. Correct. You can do whatever you want. So the most important thing as any American citizen in our country is to go and vote. So I'm more mad at people who don't vote than vote.
And you know what? I just want to say this. People get unalived for the right for us to vote. I just want to throw that out there. So that's very important.
And what majority of those other than Jewish brothers and sisters were black folks?
Well, what does that matter? They're all Americans. Poppy, Poppy, they're all Americans. I understand what your point, but listen, we're all unified in one. What? Go ahead.
Majority of armed services are white.
We're all combined. We're all American. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter how much melatonin we have in our skin. We are all American, right? Right?
If that was the case, then we wouldn't have an issue with DEI.
Well,
You fell into the trap of divisiveness in this country.
look, the problem with DEI is people not getting based off of their merit. Look, if you want to say that, like, okay, certain neighborhoods don't have access to certain colleges, therefore they don't get jobs. Okay, I can go along with that logic, and maybe we've subsidized those who have 4.0 GPAs, those that are trying really hard in school that don't have the opportunities that other kids have. Okay, sure. But DEI is not that. DEI says based off of a marriage of a percentage of people that we have. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Look at the percentage of the DEI hires in America and what their average wage is. It's less than every single person who gets married outside of DEI and is based on merit. Every single DEI hire qualification, on average, throughout our whole country, they are paid less than people who are just hired based on merit. You support that. That is modern day slavery, is saying I can pay somebody because the government tells me.
Okay. Well, one at a time. Barbara Heath, let's go ahead and get you in, and then Osar, you're after her.
Okay, that politics, you're right, but that's a sidebar note. The bottom line is, Poppy, as much as I respect your opinion and how you voted and why you voted the way you did, to vote for somebody simply for skin color, in my opinion, is kind of ridiculous. Because I voted for Obama in his first term, It had nothing to do with his skin color. It had everything to do with what he said when he was standing on that podium, standing on a platform, and telling the American public what he was going to do. With that being said, when you hire somebody simply on skin color and not their merits, I don't think that you're doing any favors to that person, because that person knows he's or she is getting hired simply because they didn't earn it, but because of their skin color. So you're not even giving them the benefit of their knowledge.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yes. Whoa. One at a time. One at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
Say something. When I'm finished. When I'm finished. You can
Go ahead.
Please, thank you. I don't know how you would feel about it, but I know personally, if somebody were to hire me for a job based on my skin color and not my merit, that doesn't promote me. That doesn't give me self-fulfillment. Like, I've earned this position. I've earned this job. I qualified to be out the best contender. So for me, I don't feel like that's, I mean, back in the day, 50 years ago when we had the scenario where it had to be, I get it, because there was no other way some of these people were going to get their shoe in the door. However, in today's society, I don't think that's the situation anymore. I think that if you show up to the job and you have the qualifications, you got the merit, and you are the better candidate, it should not be about your skin color.
Right. Indian, white, black, Native American, it doesn't matter.
Now, let's not be disingenuous, because I feel like it is being disingenuous when you speak about DEI. Because the real truth of the matter and the fact about merit, when it comes to cisgender white men, they are not really qualified on their own.
Well, that's an assumption.
Hold on. Let me finish. What we do know, according to the facts, that the highest educated demographic in this country are black women. What we do know by the facts as it relates to material gain from education is Indians, then Asians. So we now know that when there's not a squadron or swath of cisgender white men sitting with their degrees.
So how many Indian women are there in America?
Hold on, let me just finish this real quick. When it comes to people as a pool for educating and having merit, it's not a swath of white-centered men sitting there with their degrees, sitting there with their merits, like, yo, I haven't gotten a job. They're not sitting there, waiting, like, man, all these black people, all these women have gotten stuff over me. Because the real truth of the matter, what we're seeing now, with that example of Elon Musk, that got rid of the FAA, he's saying all the retired FAA come back. What he's asking for, they're not sitting in the white lines waiting to get rid of all these DEI.
So how many Indian women do you think there are to hire?
Hold on, Blaze. Hold on. He was bringing up the FAA guy. So the gentleman who was running the FAA, he sat in front of a panel of Congress, and when that crash happened, and he was asked very specific questions. Now, gentleman was a black man, total respect from him. He was asked like 3 or 4 basic questions. One of them was, what are the three criteria before a plane even takes off? The gentleman said, I have no idea. I think as an FAA director, you should know those 3 criteria. That's number one. Number two.
Well, let her finish.
Number 2, he was asked, do you know how to fly a plane? He said, no, sir, I've never flown a plane before in my life. Number 3, he was asked, what is your education on air flights? He says, I have no education there. So, in my opinion, that current FAA representative was completely and totally unqualified.
So, Poppy, before you respond, I want to cut in before you respond. So, I just want to be 100% fair. We had somebody come in here and screaming about anecdotes. That is a perfect example of an anecdote, okay? Somebody who heard it from another person and wasn't an example, okay? Barbara, I swear, I'm not saying, no, listen, Barbara, I'm not saying, I know, I'm not saying that you're discredited. Listen, Barbara, I'm not saying that you're discredited, and I'm not saying what you're saying is untrue. What I'm saying is that is one specific example that we can point to that is in contrary than Poppy. That's all I'm saying.
And there was something that she said.
Happened
I just want to be fair across the panel.
But just a point of clarity, that man, when it comes to being the head of the FAA, the qualifications are none of what the questions that are being asked, and the person that asked them knew that on purpose. When you are the head of the FAA, you are managing scheduling, not in specifics. Because guess who they didn't have on the podium? The actual air traffic controller that was working at the moment that the plane crash happened. Now, they could have been scrutinized. We had spoke about this beforehand. When you were doing these qualifications and what's needed to be met, there is a tier for that. So the example that you're giving is absolutely, but it's disingenuous because the leader of the FAA, its qualification is none of the questions that they asked.
Okay, all right. We're gonna hold on. We're gonna hold on. All right, okay. I'm gonna mute people. We're gonna get P-Rock in here because he had something that he wanted to add to this, and P-Rock hasn't had a chance to speak in quite a while. And then we're gonna go to Astrid, and then we're gonna open up the panel again. Okay.
All I said was what Barbara told you right on point. Because like you said, I watched the trial. Yes.
Thank you.
What trial? What?
Somebody who runs the FAA does not need to know how to fly a plane. It's an administrative job.
That's kind of like somebody saying. That's kind of like saying somebody who runs a trucking company shouldn't know how to change a tire. Like, let's be real. They should have a general idea. Let's be real. Otherwise, how are they going to be good at their job? I'm just saying. No, I'm speaking from personal experience. My boss knows how to change a tire. That's why he's good at his job.
And I can't be a mechanic. But if that's your criteria for holding a job, wouldn't you be a little irritated with some of Trump's cabinet pick?
Sure. Okay, I can understand that.
Wait. The lady that's in charge of the Department of Education is actually involved with the WWF
But
or
her
whatever
whole
that
career,
is.
her whole personal career has been involved in education.
I can't hear, guys. One at a time.
And has never worked in education at all.
No, that's her whole career has been in education. Go back and do your homework. Her whole entire career has been involved in education.
So who are we specifically talking about?
We talked about the.
I think there's a standard. You're conflating again the example about the leader of your job knowing how to do a tire in an administrative position in the government.
I believe. What? Sorry. Go ahead.
Let me just point the fact that it helps in private sector for you to know the janitor's job, for you to be the CEO of the company. But when it comes to the government structure, if you know what the janitor is doing, you're not going to adequately be able to administrate because of the conflict of interest and boundaries.
What?
When you're an administrator, let me explain. When you're an administrator, the less that and this is called departmentalization. You know, when you departmentalize, this is how the government sets up its structure to function. So this is why there's no issue with Trump coming and bringing people that we perceive that may not be qualified. But what did they say that they're definitely qualified for? What his leadership, that they are devoted to him, and for him to function in a top-down situation, I need you to be devoted to me. I don't care if you know how to fly a plane. Can you listen to me? And I'd rather take you.
Well, that's called a dictatorship.
That's called up and down. That's called up and down economics. Because if you're going to do operations of leadership, right?
Because you can federally, you can sue the federal government.
What I'm trying to say is,
should have knowledge of every aspect of what they're running.
Well, let him finish.
We agree.
Let him finish.
But what happens is when you get this is just in parliaments of leadership. If you get somebody who knows everything and they're your subordinate, first law of powers and do not outshine. They will outshine you. And when you're in an administrative situation of the government, you do not want somebody who's smarter than you, lower than you.
Okay.
You want somebody who's not smarter than you, higher than you, because they can follow orders. So the FAA does not need, the administrator does not need to be the best pilot in the world.
I completely disagree with that. I'm going to be 100%.
I'm not saying that's a good thing to do. I'm not saying that's how you should do it.
Well, no, I'm saying I disagree that that's how it's being done because it doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody who knows more want them above themselves? You would want to be above somebody who knows less than you, so that way you can command them to do what you want them to do, right?
I just no, because of the work equality. If somebody who's better than you, that's under than you, will do your work for you.
Yeah, but they get paid for it. So what's the difference? Wouldn't you want that money?
There's no in the government. There's no hierarchy of pay and bonus.
Yeah, absolutely there is. Have you seen Elizabeth Warren's salary? Have you seen what she's worth?
She's an elected official. She's not a
Sure. But you don't think government employees don't receive subsidiaries and payback? Yeah, kickbacks. You think they don't?
The head of FAA does not. No.
Somebody's alarm is going off.
Yeah, that's mine. It's telling me the live's gonna end in 5 minutes. I don't believe it. I'm gonna call it on its bluff. We're gonna see what happens. Everybody follow if you want to see. Sorry, real quick. If this stream ends in 5 minutes, everybody follow. We go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I want everybody to come back because I love this panel right here. Even though I love it. Honestly, you're fired up, and Asteroid knows. I love when people come here and give a differing opinion because I do not want an echo chamber. I want to hear differing opinions. So everybody who disagrees or agrees, follow, and we will be live again, possibly tomorrow. We don't know. But anyway, who was going to respond? Was it Asar? Sorry, I just heard like 5 people at once.
I was kind of like late to the live, but Poppy, I get kind of what you're saying on some levels, but in the end of the day, you want the leader of whoever that program is or that company to know every aspect, because it's not going to be successful unless that leader knows every aspect of that company and how it runs. And so for the FAA dude, God bless his soul, he was in there doing his best. If you can't even answer the simple 3 questions, which was the 3 certifications that you need before a plane leaves the ground, if you didn't even know those answers, he is not qualified at all.
That's a fair statement.
And I wouldn't want to be on any
but
That's not how it's set up. But go ahead.
in Trump's first administration, he put Rick Perry in charge of the Department of Energy, and Rick Perry thought what the Department of Energy was all about was our oil supply, and when he got in is when he realized, oh, fuck, that's all about nuclear.
Asteroid, did you see who was in charge of our nuclear waste in the Biden administration?
You know what?
Can we just not go there with who was in charge of our nuclear waste in the Biden administration?
And let's not forget.
Whoa, guys, we got too many people talking. We got too many people talking one at a time.
Don't talk to me about nuclear waste guy, okay? Biden's nuclear waste guy was still in fucking luggage in the airport and everybody else's stuff. So please stop. Asteroids, just stop. Just stop.
A stupid woman.
Let's be respectful. Hey, guys, we might differ on opinions, okay? But at the end of the day, you both are women, okay? We're both Americans. Let's be civil on this panel, okay? Right? We can both agree to that. Thank you. Okay? Let's be civil. Okay? So what, Barbara, I feel like you need the space to get out whatever you've got built up. I want to hear it.
That wasn't very nice. All I'm saying, she went down that nuclear thing. So, yes, let's look at Biden's nuclear waste manager. I mean, he was super stellar, walking around in high heels and dresses and necklaces and lipstick, bald head, and stealing people's luggage at the airport. So let's not talk about that. But I mean, I'm not even going to worry about Asteroid. I'm going to talk to Poppy's stuff because I'm more interested in what he has to say because he brings valid points.
Sure.
I understand them, and I happen to agree on some level. But
Asar is very good at explaining himself. I will say we might disagree on all of that, but he's very articulate, like he said earlier. He is good at that.
And I appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to engage with politics or Joe. But with Poppy's thing, I get where he's coming from, but I just want him to have an open mind with what I said, especially when it comes to the FAA, because that's kind of one of the big things. I'm, for one, not willing to get on a plane anymore until that whole situation changes.
I
But
agree.
you gotta admit, you don't run an operation or a program, be the highest level, or run a business and not know every intricate level of how that business or program operates. That's the only way you're
I agree.
qualified. That's the only way you're qualified.
I agree, and I think that in the private sector, there is a very real connection to bottom outcome and what we make money that's profitable to the integrity of the money that we make that's long lasting as a company. So absolutely. When we go to the public sector, and I think this is where the conflating happens, because we're looking at the government and the structure of the government and saying, hey man, my mechanic business runs better than the Department of Education. If y'all would do, and if you're not interacting with the public sector, right, coming from the private sector or being a businessman and not understanding how that works, this is where we're seeing the contention happening, because Trump represents that private sector coming into public life and literally shooting up by the fly, and then, you know what, let me put business people involved. And because of the very simple thing, in the profit world, profit margin becomes from your business. But in the public, you have a tax base that pays for everything. So guess your board of directors are the people who vote for you in the government. And based upon that, they give their tax money to fund who they pick. So
Well,
it is important.
That's why on our
So it
local
is
level, that's why on our local level, I think it's really important, probably almost more important than it is on our federal level, to make sure that we get the right people in place in our local government.
I agree with that, Barbara. And to add to that, that's one of the biggest criticisms of Gavin Newsom. Now, am I going to say Gavin Newsom is a terrible leader? I'm going to be 100% honest. I think he's stepped up recently, and he's had a podcast where he actually addresses people who directly disagree with him. And I very much appreciate that, because it's what California needs. But Gavin Newsom is a direct example of exactly what Barbara Heath is talking about. Sorry.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I mean, that guy's head's been on chopping block for such a long time. They've been trying to get him out of office. They've tried to recall him at least 2 times in the last 4 years. And why it hasn't happened, I'm not in California, can't even speak to that. But, you know, I don't think he's great for California at all. And I think he knows his time is ticking. And so this podcast is developed, and he's trying to, you know, rally.
I think he's going to get reelected. I'll be honest with you. I think he'll get reelected. I think he'll be the governor for the next at least 10 years, 12 years.
Governors only have 2 cycles.
Right, I saw it. Yeah, he's trying to set himself up to run for the presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Presidential candidate.
Yeah, exactly. Would you vote for him, Poppy? I'm curious. Would you vote for him, Poppy? I know it's a totally I know it's a totally offhand question. I'm not gonna hold it against you. I genuinely am curious of your opinion.
Is there any black people running in the primary?
Ben Carson. You got Ben Carson. You gonna vote for Ben Carson? No, I don't think so.
I'd have to see what he's saying, but on the Democratic side, if he's the only one, I mean, who's running?
He's on the Republic. Shit. Don't make me say yes, bro. Don't make me say yes. Yeah, I already know.
If she runs again, I'm voting for her.
Fair enough. I know. I already know.
If she's in the primary against Gavin Newsom, I'm picking Kamala.
So what do you think about the Democratic Party throwing her in there and not having an election as far as the Democratic nominee?
I think she got a fair shake on that one.
Hold on. And also, because she only had 100 days compared to literally 8 years.
Right.
Trump campaigned for 8 years, and she got as close as she
Well,
got to 100 days. I don't think there's anyone in the Democratic Party.
Sure.
74,000.
Okay, I hear you on that. People support her. Okay, I hear you on that. But what do you think about? Hold on. Whoever's Barbara. Wait. What do you think about the democratic process of not voting her into that position? I'm just because based on what you're telling me, you would have voted her in anyway. But as an American, do you believe in that process?
Okay, first of all, the Democratic Party is not a government institution. It is a private company.
Sure.
Literally a private company.
Okay.
So that private company will operate how it sees fit. I have no problems with McDonald's making the fish fillet 2 for $6 because last year was
Right. But if it's the first time it's ever been done, it's kind of different, right?
no. It's private.
Hold on. Let him answer.
The Democratic Party is a private company that has its own mores and business practices. Whether they did something or they didn't, that is their prerogative.
Okay.
That private company, for whatever they did, presented a candidate that we supported.
Okay.
If the Democratic Party was a government institution, absolutely. But it is not a government institution. The Democratic Party is a private company, just like the
So you don't think it speaks to Kamala's leadership for her not being able to go against a panel of 11 other members of Democratic leaders and protest why her points are more valid than her? Okay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because had she did it at the bottom end and tried to work, she would have never made it past. She's a black woman.
Well, what the? Well, okay, wait. Okay, so we cannot say that Kamala would not have made it specifically because of that criteria.
She tried it against Biden and even called Biden a racist.
She didn't even get 1% of the vote. So how do you imagine? She didn't even get 1%.
So what does that say about the Democratic Party who supported Joe Biden for so long if she's calling Volin a racist? So the whole Democratic Party is a racist?
Listen, I'm letting you know right now.
The Republicans and Dems. Sorry, go ahead. Hold on, wait. Let's let him respond.
You're asking questions. All right, you're asking questions. What I'm saying
You gotta let people answer.
Wait, Brandon. Let's let him answer.
Answering the question. Yeah, you're asking questions. I'm trying to answer them. The first thing that you asked is she didn't go through the whole rigmarole because at that bottom tier, the primary, because she wouldn't make it past the primary. When she tried it, she got less than 1% of the vote.
But doesn't that speak to her as a candidate?
Exactly.
No, it speaks to the institution. It speaks to the institution of the Democratic Party. Hold on, let me finish. It speaks to the institution of the Democratic Party and its fulfillment of racist white people who don't want to see a black candidate.
So all Republicans and all Democrats are racist.
First of all, I'm going to talk about the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party has a very serious anti-Semitic and anti-black movement.
And when she was running for president, she didn't even get 1% and had to drop out.
So what do you explain to AOC?
So the Democrats didn't like her either.
AOC is very liberal.
That doesn't dismiss what I just said because you're agreeing what I said. It is so pervasive and so anti-black that she couldn't even get 1% of the vote.
It has anything to do with her color, Poppy. It
But
has
Obama-
to do with the fact that she didn't have the qualifications.
Yeah,
And it still doesn't
Obama won presidency.
And let me explain something.
Sure.
Talk about disqualification when it comes to Kamala.
And I voted for Obama.
Whoa, hold on, Barbara.
When you say qualifications, you do not have any other candidate that has her qualifications. You do not have any candidate that served.
A DA who arrested people on D offenses.
Let me finish.
Sure, go ahead.
She served as local, state, national. She served in the judiciary, the legislative.
And arrested the most people on D-related offenses than any other DA.
That sounds like she was doing her job.
Well, what's the is it okay? Whoa! Hold on, Barbara. I have a very specific question I have to ask Poppy right now. Is the laws from police that target I don't know what the correct word, rug. Well, no, rug. No, listen. Rug related fences, especially when it comes to driving, okay? Are they specifically targeted toward the black majority?
I don't know if it's. I can't speak for it being targeted to the black community.
Because the large majority will say yes. The large majority would say yes. Because you are a darker skin color, you are going to get pulled over. Therefore, exactly. Therefore, you are more likely to get caught with said things because you are getting pulled over more often. That is the argument, correct?
Right, correct. But
I mean, what you're asking about. Hold on one second.
Her record on as a AG play.
just a minute.
Pull up
Let me
her
say
record as
something.
an AG and talk about the number of people that she put in jail. Not even to mention the one poor fella that got put in prison for life for carrying just a little bit of freaking
Don't.
marijuana.
Yeah. Don't say rug. Say rug, please.
Please,
But he sat there and
please.
he was prosecuted by her, put in
Okay.
prison forever and a day, and she had information knowing that he was innocent, and she withheld that information.
Okay,
Hold on,
first
let me just.
of all, Blaze,
I'm sorry.
who is the person, who is the people that are pulling over these people and charging them with crime?
The Internal Revenue Service of the government.
That would be the police. That is not the DEA.
Same thing.
Only no, it isn't.
They're a revenue service.
The DA only handles cases that come before them.
Sure. Yeah.
DA is not actively out there
Right.
looking for cases.
Okay, I agree with that.
No, they're actively out there prosecuting those cases.
Not Barbara.
Politics. Do you have anything to add to this before we keep the panel open? You haven't had a chance to speak, and then Joe P-Rock will go to you. Do you have anything to add, or you just want to keep listening? It's okay. I'm not going to kick you out of here. I just want to give you the chance to have your voice heard. It looks like politics is not available. Okay. Joe P-Rock, do you have anything you want to add to this conversation, or you just want to pass it on?
No, I pass it to Barbara.
Okay. Hey, Pastor Barbara. I gotta go use the bathroom. Y'all keep it up.
I would appreciate your help anytime you want to jump in, Joe.
But the aspect about Kamala and her qualifications, again, local, state, and national government, all of which she had to get elected, which was a majority by white voters. She served in the judiciary.
Now, why does white have to do with white or black have to do anything with voters?
Because I voted for her as a black woman. That's why. I'm speaking from my
Why does
perspective.
white and black have to do with anything? Are you an American or aren't you American? Are you an American or aren't you an American?
Let me
Are you an
finish. I'm
American or are you not American?
Hey,
I'm an
Poppy.
American that
Okay,
is
there
black.
you go. Plain and simple. What does black and white
I'm
have
an
to do?
American that is black. Because
Okay, well,
that's
fine.
who I am.
But everything
I
you
would
say is black
appreciate-
and white constantly.
I mean,
Every 5
that's
minutes,
because
black and white.
because
Who
I
gives-
because
who
I
gives
don't
what color
mind
you are.
because I don't mind
The
expressing and
skin color
speaking.
shouldn't ever matter. It should be what's best for you as an American.
If that was the case, then I wouldn't bring it up.
But you're talking about you plainly stated you literally
Yes.
only voted for her because she was black. The skin tone has
Hold on.
nothing to
be
do with
specific,
nothing.
She's a beautiful black woman.
Yeah,
Be
every
specific.
man knows that's been with her.
I don't know about all that. I'm just saying she's a beautiful black woman, to be specific. And there's nothing wrong with supporting a beautiful black woman.
No, but support her on her merits, not her color, not her beauty. That's in a great place.
Guess what? Because the merits is something that I can debate and argue about. Merits are something that are going to be subjective and objective. But guess what? I definitely don't have to argue with you because you agreed. She's black and she's beautiful.
I didn't say, yep, she is black and she is beautiful.
So we don't got to argue. So and for her being
But
black
that
and
does
beautiful,
not run
she
a
gets my vote.
country, Poppy. That does not run a country.
You know
Black
what?
and
I
beautiful
agree.
doesn't run a country, and white and beautiful
Guess
doesn't run
what?
a country. Knowledge, experience, and
How about this? Can you
qualifications
tell
run a
me any
country.
white? Can you tell me any white and beautiful person that ever did run the country?
Donald Trump. No, I'm just kidding.
He's white, but has there ever been a
But
beautiful?
that's not what I'm going to vote for. I'm not going to vote for white and beautiful. I'm not going to vote for black and beautiful. I'm going to vote for qualifications and politics and all that stuff and policies.
But
I'm
who got
not.
more qualification? Who got more qualifications than Kamala?
Your visual means nothing.
Well, whoa. If we want to say, sorry, Poppy. If we want to say qualification, so we know she was thrown in by the, I forget what position. I don't want to say a position and be wrong, but she
Served as a DA,
yeah.
Attorney General, Senator.
And she was put in place by a specific black man who later on in an interview came out and spoke against her and said that she was a harlot, if you know what I'm saying.
I mean, let's just take Barack Obama. Barack Obama didn't have any experience either. He sat in Congress for like less than 2 months.
One at a time. I can't hear everybody all at once.
Yeah, we're talking about Kamala, so you don't have to bring up Barack. So
Well,
whatever
I'm bringing
Barack
up
did has
Barack
nothing to
because
do.
I actually voted for him the first time around. And so you talk
Did
about
you vote for him because he's a handsome black man?
him because he stood on the podium.
Hey, Asar, when you turn 35, you're running for president, ain't you?
Because he stood on the podium and he preached the dream, and that's all he had to say was relevant.
And he's not a handsome black man?
He got big ears. I ain't all about him.
Did you ever see him play basketball?
No.
He is good at basketball.
Oh my God! Wait, did you ever see him just smile and laugh or smoke a cigarette?
All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and get Jaren's opinion. Let's go ahead and get Jaren's also, Jaren, I want to shout out. I've seen you in the comments. You might not necessarily agree with the things that I'm saying, but I appreciate you for being a viewer and hanging out and chatting in the comments. Genuinely, I appreciate you and thank you for joining the panel. What do you got for us today? I assume you disagree with the prompt here.
Well, yeah, because on the notion that DEI necessarily means that people that are not male, that are not white, are being hired just because they are not white or not male.
But how do we know that's not happening though? What's go ahead.
How do you know? If you look at the hiring process of the federal government, their positions actually outline minimum and recommended requirements for each position. So,
Quotas.
No, they're not quotas. They're requirements that every single person who applies, white, female, black, or otherwise, has to meet before they're even considered for an interview.
Okay, gotcha.
Meet in person? Is that what you're talking about?
It's before they're in person. When they put in their application, they have to have certain education background. They have to pass a background check. They have to pass references. So the idea that the federal government is just hiring someone just because, they're black and only because they're black and not because of their qualifications, there's no evidence of that.
Well, sure, but that's the same argument for people who say that like discriminatory laws exist, right? But then you have certain states like Tennessee, a lot of southern states who have just cause fire laws, right? They don't have to tell you why they fire you. They can fire you for any reason that they want. Some would say that's discriminatory. Okay.
To push back on that, the reason why there are affirmative action laws, because a company can simply fire people that fit a different demographic than they want, or choose not to hire people that they don't want, and just say, they just they're just not qualified.
Sure.
Without
So
and with an affirmative action, with enforcing affirmative action, and you look at a company and you see they have 1% black and 99% white, there's some data to present to that company.
So Jaron, can I ask you a question?
Discrimination, then why are your numbers showing the
When was affirm? Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Wait. Don't. Oh, let me ask you a question because I don't know the answer to this, and yes, I could Google it, but you seem to know the information. The both of you. When was affirmative action signed into law? I would like to know that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Specific, it was John F. Kennedy. And what he was doing was he was trying to implement business practice for the government to interact with the private sector. The affirmative action, which was coined, was listen, we're not going to do this. The number one employer in the world is the U.S. government.
Oh, right.
The U.S. government, so for the U.S. government to do business with a private company, they had to put, hey, you coming up in here because we represent a collective, a diverse electorate.
Okay.
So I can't do business with you, Walmart, unless you have a certain amount of black people there because we represent a certain amount of black people because I'm using their tax dollars to pay you for business.
Okay.
That's why the affirmative actions came. So,
Okay.
Private companies like, listen, the number one, and no matter what private companies like, even you as a mechanic in your mechanic business, if you got a contract with the government, that is your best client. It's better than any multi-million-dollar client that you can get.
Right.
All businesses in the private sector want to do business with the government.
Right.
John F. Kennedy said, hey, if we're going to do business with you, I got to use taxpayers' money. And a lot of this taxpayer money comes from black people.
Right. Okay.
So I need your business to have some black people in there so that we don't, why? Because I can't be taxing these people without having a representation of these people.
So Asar.
Without representation.
May I? Okay, so Asar, you bring up a very, very valid point, and I thank you for being so articulate. I want to ask you something, and this is very specific to what you brought up, and I don't want anybody else to answer. When you're talking about these people who get taxed, these black people who get taxed, right? And then this is what DEI is supposed to help them because they spend majority of the taxes in this community into Walmart, into whatever company. That's what DEI is part of. Do you think, and now I'm not saying this happens, I'm asking your general opinion. Do you think somebody, just because they have a specific skin color and they pay into taxes in this specific community and the majority are black, should keep their job because of the percentage that they pay into taxes? Do you think no matter how, okay, all right, so no, right?
No, because black people won't get taxed whether they have a job or not. There's already shown demographics or real statistics that even if you don't have a job and you're on welfare, you pay a lot of taxes.
Well, how so?
Taxes because the money that you spend on buying goods and services is taxed for the explicit.
Yeah, but that's somebody else's money, right?
But everybody gets paid. Everybody has to pay the same taxes on goods and services.
What I'm saying is that we still pay a tax, and as a citizen, whether I'm working or not working, I'm still gonna get taxed.
So should you not have a job and not get taxed?
Yeah, I mean when you're not working,
how about this? No.
From
That's
the
not the
government.
question. Should I not have a job, not get taxed? Should I not have a business and figure out the tax loopholes?
Well, sure. But you could say you're running a business and then say you don't have profit for 24 months.
The question that you ask a black person about should you have a job and pay taxes, the question is should you not own a company and figure out the tax loopholes so that you don't pay any tax?
Well, I'm not against that, but
Business owner, you had the tax loophole, you would find it and you would use it, just like any other business.
But we know that the tax code and the tax loopholes are made for the wealthy. They're not made for the wealthy.
I was in business. I was in business for myself for 20 years. There was no loopholes for me. I was a mediocre business that probably made 6 figures a year for 20 years. And I can tell you, I was hurt mostly from all the taxes. I was paying payroll taxes. I was taking care of my retail taxes. I was taking care of my personal property
But that
taxes.
is not reflective. That's not a reflective. That's not reflective that the loopholes didn't exist. That's reflective that
Oh,
you
they
didn't learn how to
did
use them.
exist. The unfortunate part about that is they did not exist for people like me. in business.
And another thing is the middle class kind of gets screwed over a little bit because they don't get government subsidiaries, right?
Check this out. And guess what? Kamala had plans to help the working person who owned the business.
No, she had plans to give money to illegal immigrants. That's what she had plans for.
Listen, she specifically had plans for businesses to get a $50,000 tax credit.
What businesses? Well, I'm sure she got to dictate what businesses. I guarantee you they were either migrant or minority owned. None of them were going to be white. And if they were, there was a small percentage.
As a border czar, he had the opportunity to close those borders and allow money and allow.
She was. Oh no, she definitely was a border czar. Asar. I appreciate you being intellectual. Hold on. Go ahead.
There you go. She was given the opportunity to deal with the effects of the border, not to go down to the.
Well, no, either way.
Hold on. What she did do was she didn't go to the border. She went to the countries that were filling. Hold on, let me finish. She went to the countries that were filling the borders and trying to figure out why are all your people leaving your country.
And nothing happened.
Blaze, please let me speak on this.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, let's let. Hold on, Asar, you've got a lot of words in. I just want to get Asteroid and Jaren, okay? Because I've seen Jaren wants to get a word in. Asteroid, Jaren, P-Rock, and then the floor is open.
What about Barbara?
Barbara, she's been getting in and out. She's good at getting her words in.
I'm talking, but Poppy's not listening. And the point is, yes, she was appointed to be the border czar.
Anyways, okay. Got. I don't want any response. I just want Asteroid to give her opinion on what we've been saying. Sure, yeah. Finish, and then it's going straight to Asteroid.
Okay, thank you, Blaze.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And if she was concerned at all about any part of our financial situation in this country, she'd have closed those borders, because all the money that we've been dishing out for everybody who crossed those borders, it was going to illegals. It wasn't going to the people who were living in the streets in America. It wasn't going to our veterans. It wasn't going to any of our things. We're giving out too much money, and that was her solution. She had the opportunity to close the border, and she didn't. Plain and simple. So she was a total failure as a border czar. Okay, go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Asteroid.
I'm not going to respond to that because this conversation is getting difficult for me, because even though I've explained what DEIA is to some of the people on this panel, they still stick to the fact that they think it's people that have less qualifications getting the job. And when we can't agree on what something actually is, we can't discuss it. Same with the border deal. What Papa was saying about what her responsibilities were at the border was exactly what it was. And because you guys keep saying she was the border czar and she did nothing, there's nothing I could say that can convince you otherwise. So it really isn't, with me, it's not worth continuing those two discussions, because we disagree fundamentally on what DEIA is and what her job, what Biden sent her to do when it came to the border. So
Okay.
I'm gonna let Darren go, and I'll go on.
Oh, sorry.
I feel like, Asteroid, I'm not drama starting, but I feel as though you are specifically mentioning Barbara because of her but what she has to say about the border and her being the border czar and her job on controlling the border. Essentially, I want you guys to keep it civil, but I feel like there's something here, okay? Because yes, you guys are on opposite aisles of how Kamala could have handled the border and the job that she did, okay? But at the end of the day, we have things that we can identify. Okay, not all. I just want to throw this out there. Not all immigrants are bad. Okay, we have immigrants that are good here that don't need to be deported. And okay, thank you, Barbara. And we can also identify that there are violent immigrants that do need to be deported. Okay, okay. So as long as we understand that, we can have difference of opinions, and there are videos and things of people saying things on video, but we're not going to talk about that right now because that's going to drag the show on. We want, like somebody said earlier, anecdotal evidence, okay? We don't want hearsay. We want good points that don't necessarily disrespect the other person that you're talking about. Barbara, I want to hear why you feel like she was the border czar and why it was her responsibility that what happened after 2022 to 2024.
I did have a comment about Kamala.
I want to hear Barbara first, and then Asar. Yeah.
Number one, Asteroid, I just want to say I totally respect your opinion, and we can just agree to disagree. I don't negate you at all. I think that you're entitled to whatever you feel and whatever you think. So no disrespect to you. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
Number one, she was given the job as border czar. She so misrepresented everything. Number one, she didn't even go to the main port of entry where everybody was coming in. She was so far away from the dramatic part of all of these aliens coming in and where all the problems were. And she only went there once. And then you want to have her sit in an interview. I can't even remember what the gentleman's name was. And he says, but you haven't been to the border yet. And she goes, yeah, but I haven't been to Europe either. I mean, like, she was so flippant. She was so flippant about it. She was so nonchalant about it. And whether y'all want to believe this or not, this is my personal belief, and you can debate me on this all day long. And I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, I'm still going to say what I say. The only reason why that border was open was to pack the Democratic Party in hopes that they would vote because they knew they were going to lose because they had nothing else left to stand on. And that was because they knew they were losing the demographics in the United States. And sadly enough for them, they realized real quick it was not working. These people were not going to vote. They were here. You gave them an app to come across that border. They used that app. They got their free subsidies. They got their housing. They got their travel vouchers. They got their money vouchers. People here in the United States who are sitting here on our welfare system were getting a fraction, not a fraction of what these immigrants were getting. You want to talk about pissed off? Those people were pissed off. And so when I say she failed miserably, she failed miserably. She wasn't in touch with nothing. It was all about bringing them in, not stopping them, not fixing the problem, not going over to the other countries and going, how can we fix this problem? She don't know rat's nothing about anything of what she did. She did nothing. That was the bottom line. She did nothing.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Barbara. Jaron, I want to get you in here, and then we're going straight to P-Rock, Asar. Floor's open after that. And Asteroid, if you want a chance to respond, let me know. We'll get you in there too.
All right. So my first point with Kamala, and I'm a registered Democrat, but this is probably a critique on Kamala's campaign. A lot of the economic incentives only affected a small percentage. For example, her promise of $25,000 down payment. That only applied to people who were in the process of buying a new home. Didn't really address the people who currently have homes, or if you already purchased a home in the previous year, it wouldn't have applied. Something similar for her incentive for small businesses. That's great, but it's still only affected new businesses. She didn't propose anything for the existing small businesses, existing homeowners who also needed economic help. The other criticism of Kamala Harris I have is some people believe that she's too left. I believe that she wasn't left enough. I don't think. I think she dismissed the movement over Palestine and the genocide. Her response to people that wanted her to stand up to Benjamin Netanyahu was disgusting. And her response to that movement, basically saying that she supports genocide, for me, why would I support you? So, yes, I voted for the Green Party. I voted for a stance that said no to more money for genocide. So
say chino. You're saying that word a lot. I'm not trying to cut you off, but say like genocide or something.
Or I'll say mass unaliving of.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Or just say genocide. We understand what you're saying. It's just it's TikTok language.
So I think and then also Kamala trying to pretend to be a fake Republican with I'm forgetting the name, but
Trump or Elon?
No, Cheney's daughter. I'm forgetting her
Oh,
name.
Elizabeth? Isn't that what it's called? Isn't that her name?
Yes, Elizabeth Cheney.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of alienated her base, and a lot of and it really did affect her when a lot of those people either chose to stay home. They may have voted for third party, and yes, Democrats will blame the Green Party for that. But I think a lot of the base I thought alienated, they just stayed home, which is also a stance too. They abstain. If they don't like any of the viable choices, they abstain. I still believe in voting, so I voted, but I did vote against the two choices. And yes, that would probably, some people would view that as hurting Kamala, but Kamala had a choice to stand up for what was right, and I feel like she chose not to.
Well, dude, you know what? I'll tell you this personally. My brother voted independent, so if you think I'm going to have some kind of weird opinion to people who vote independent, I don't. I think people who vote independent honestly care more about democracy than anybody who votes Republican or Democrat. If I'm going to be 100% honest with you, even me myself, I think they value democracy over more than I value democracy. They value a true democracy. But anyway, some people might disagree with that. I see Asar, you joined back in. If you can get back in here, feel free. Don't worry about it if you can't. P-Rock, we're probably gonna end the stream, dude. We've been going for 3 hours. Yeah, wow, we did good tonight. Everybody.
What I gotta say is that I am a registered independent. I vote the person, not the party.
There you go. Boom. I just gave you the ultimate advertisement there. P-Rock didn't even know it.
Exactly. And the best part about being an independent is you don't get all those flyers from Democrats or Republicans.
There you go.
I'm with you, John. Independent too.
There you go.
All right.
This part of about I will say that is very real. One thing that Kamala did fail at was the inability to really communicate to the swath of the electorate that wanted to hear something. And I think that Trump has the ability to interact and speak to people at that level. And what winds up happening, which is even an extra dig, and I don't mean to be this, but there was a very real experience to America when Obama showed up. Because what happened was the articulate black man, who's also cool at the same time, was something that created a little animus. Because directly after that, the representation of, because it affects, I don't mean to say this here, but it affects the black community and white, is this very real anti-intellectualism. And there is a very real thing in the electorate to where that if anyone comes and presents as if they might be smarter than you, that there is a serious push against. And I think Kamala, because of the trajectory of all her life, always being where she's been and always promoting where she's been, that because of the experience of not being white, we've always had to work double time.
Bro,
we always had to be articulate. We always had to be the smartest. We always had to be the fastest.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I 1000% disagree.
What I'm saying is, she had an inability to reach back and to affect the majority of people. So when it came to her going to the border, why didn't you go to the border? I didn't go to the border because I went to Europe. That's not what you say. And so what has happened is, when there are, like Barbara, when she's expressing very, very, very simple things in a very face-to-face situation, and as a representative of all people, you have to affect all people. I think where she failed at was her inability to reach the levels of the people who were the majority of.
So if Gavin Newsom, if Gavin Newsom ran and he spoke, I don't want, hold on. If Gavin Newsom ran and he spoke specifically to black people and everything that they wanted and everything that you wanted to see out of Kamala Harris, would you vote for him? No. Thank you. Holy shit. Puppy, thank you so much for answering that honestly. Like, dude, thank you so much, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for answering that.
Poppy, you were talking about her not being able to articulate.
No, not at all.
And so imagine her in front of foreign leaders trying to negotiate, policies and laws and, oh God forbid.
I'm gonna let you know the conversation for her to deal with a diplomat and a dignitary is a different conversation that she needs to deal with the average Trump supporter.
It doesn't even matter if it's an average Trump supporter. We're talking about running the
according to the demographic. According to the demographic.
The girl
hold on. According to the demographic, the majority of the Trump. Hold on 1 second. According to the demographic, the majority Trump supporter is non-college educated. Yes.
Well, I'm college educated.
You're not the majority of the Trump supporters. So the majority
hold on, Poppy.
This is already known. This is already known.
What was it, Mike? What did you say, Mike?
Where's that statistic off of?
That's even how you're referred to on election night. Here's college educated.
Statistic off of? What's your source?
Oh man, the Quinnipiac poll.
Right now, Poppy.
The Quinnipiac, yes.
You got your adversary here with Mike because Mike's going to pull it out.
No problem. The Quinnipiac poll shows that the majority Trump supporter is non-college educated.
The Quinnipiac poll. The Quinnipiac poll.
Quinnipiac. What is Quinnipiac?
You might as well just go on Wikipedia. You might as well go on Wikipedia. Just oh my God.
Holy shit.
I'm trying to give a concession here that her inability of her hold on, just let me finish my point. So the majority
you just told me the Quinnipiac poll.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But what I'm trying to say is, you mean is there a statistic that shows that the majority of Trump supporters are college educated?
Well, what does it matter?
Obviously, there's a statistic to prove off the Quinnipiac poll that you're saying that Kamala Harris supporters aren't educated.
No. Non-college educated, I said. I didn't say educated.
I 100% think you're non-college educated, yes.
I'm just letting you know that the majority of Trump supporters are not college educated.
Are you sure you're not talking about yourself right now?
Even if that was the case, I'm not a Trump supporter.
Could you give me the Quinnipiac poll where you come on,
yeah.
Quinnipiac poll.
I mean, you can. I mean. Is it a
Hold
on 1 second. Is it a
Siri, is it true, according to a certain topic, that the Quinnipiac poll says that Trump supporters are non-college educated?
Majority.
Siri says, sorry, I can't answer that question.
I'm sorry.
Only a hit dog barks. I mean, are you college educated?
Mike, you're gonna make him drop his sorry, so you better stop that shit.
That's why I don't bark. I like Donald Trump because he fucking bites. He doesn't bark.
I've never seen him. He's never bitten anything. There's nothing that he's ever bitten.
Except Ukraine.
There's nothing.
He bit the hell out of Ukraine.
And in fact, everything that he barks, he pulls back. says there's gonna be a tariff. Oh no,
How,
we'll go
bitch?
about another month. He'll go back and says, you know what? We're gonna send them to Guantanamo Bay, and we're gonna get to Guantanamo Bay. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's bring him back.
I'm gonna get a shirt made. Check the Guanapi poll.
Blaze, let him go.
Well, I think it's lighthearted banter. I think because, well, I'm gonna be honest. If somebody brought up a random poll that nobody knew about, I think the same. I think if Mike brought up a random poll that none of us knew about, I think banter would be appropriate. I think that's all that's happening.
You've never seen them report non-college educated and college.
Well, sure. But that's like if I take a poll and say how many of Kamala voters graduated from HBCUs. It doesn't matter. It literally means nothing.
Well, that's because if you are college educated, you probably would have experienced a civics class.
I'm college educated, and I'm telling you, it does not matter.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of us.
Class of life up in here. Trust and believe.
Listen, I don't hold anything against somebody who's college educated or not college educated.
Then why
But it just
Right? Exactly. Why bring it up?
because it speaks to what I originally said, that Kamala failed in the inability to speak to people who are non-college educated.
But she is college educated, and she
can't.
So okay. So Poppy, what do you think the importance of? Hold on, wait, Mike, wait. What do you think the importance is of the non-college educated demographic? How important do you think that demographic is?
It's extremely important because it's the majority of the electorate.
So who do you think represents? Do you think it's?
Americans do not have a college education, and those people are voters. And if you are college educated and you don't know how to talk to a bunch of non-college educated people, you're gonna lose the election.
When you say majority, do you mean like 40% or like what do you mean?
Majority is more than half.
Okay, right. But I don't believe that 50%.
More than half the American society.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Listen, more than half of the American society
I do not believe that.
is non-college educated.
If you wanna link something in the comments, I'll look at it. I promise. But I do not believe that. Do you realize how easy it is to get community college grants now?
Do you think that the majority of Americans are college educated?
When you say college, do you mean community college? Do you mean university? Are you?
A degree, a bachelor's.
Okay, so associates. So not associates. Okay, well then that's not college educated because an associates is college educated. Your criteria for college educated does not meet the actual criteria of college educated. You mean a bachelor's degree. If you want to say a bachelor's degree, sure. That's a larger percentage. That's a smaller percentage of the Go ahead.
If you went to a job and they said you need a bachelor's degree, I promise you, if I show up with the bachelor's degree and you show up with your community college associate,
Sure. I agree. Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that the majority of Americans do not have a 4-year bachelor's.
But the majority of jobs in America don't require a bachelor's degree. That's what you're not understanding.
I'm talking about the electorate as voters.
What do you mean? Do you mean the electoral college specifically?
What I'm saying is that Kamala had an inability to communicate with non-college educated
majority of ability to communicate. Period.
She.
I understand that.
And she's
listen. I enjoy her
California though.
Because
that's a large population. How was she able to communicate to the people in California? Because not everyone in California has a degree.
That's a good point.
Was she able to
I think people in California is not super reflective of the entire nation.
I think Kamala was DEI. Period. Sorry, I know y'all. I know some of y'all on the panel don't agree. You don't agree, but Kamala was placed in that position. When you got somebody who ran for president and didn't even get 1% of the vote, and the man that she ran with in the end hated her guts and told her on stage, and then chose her for his vice president. Why the hell do you think he chose her for his vice president?
But then again, what would
Because
you?
she was a black female, and
But
that
how would you classify Mike Pence? Because Mike Pence didn't pull high either amongst Republicans, and Trump picked Mike Pence as his running mate.
Oh,
It's typical of vice presidents to not be as popular as the main person on the ticket.
He was DEI too. Trust and believe that.
A white male is DEI.
Yes, that white male is a DEI. For
He
sure.
was a DEI.
Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a white DEI. For sure.
Yes,
For sure.
Yes,
And they wanted to unalive him on January 6th. Yeah, he's definitely white DEI. For sure. For sure. For sure. And for TikTok purposes, they wanted to use a noose for him. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think you can. I don't know if you could say that, but it's whatever.
Guess what? They threw a rope over a thing. It was like, hang Mike Pence. Yeah, all right.
Okay, you definitely can't say that. So sorry, I hate to kick you for that because we're having a great conversation, but definitely gonna have to kick you out for that. Sorry, bro. Definitely not bringing you back on the panel, ever again. So, anyway, we're gonna end the stream. We've been going for 2 hours and 25 minutes. Holy shit! And it was actually even longer than that because P Rock knows we had an asteroid. She was there. We had a stream before this. So, thank you, Jaren, for the follow. We met our follower goal. Thank you, guys, everybody, for that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Absolutely, absolutely, guys. What a great stream we had. Lots of differing opinions. Lots of great discussion. Asteroid.
What I gotta say is, since
Yep.
Ash or whatever his name is gone, I have been unburdened by what has been.
That's good. All right, that's good. All right, I gotta give it up for that. That was good. That was good. All right, and Asteroid, I hope you feel just as welcome as you have on previous streams. I know I might have let a little bit more go than I typically would have on this stream, but I think we were in a constructive manner. I think maybe a little bit of criticism was thrown and maybe a little bit of, extra banter was thrown in. But for the most part, I think it was constructive. I hope you feel the same, and I hope you continue to join us on this panel because I do appreciate having you here. Me?
I'm gonna join you on the panel until you understand literally what DEIA is.
Well, it sounds like I can never understand what DEI is, Asteroid, because I need you to keep coming back. I need you to keep coming back. I'll never have to understand.
That's my problem. Is that you can't is the DEIA, you don't understand what it is. You keep relating it to something that it isn't.
Well, my fear, I understand your point. I really do, Asteroid, sorry. But my point of DEI sucking, right, is the fact that certain people are going to be overlooked. Now, if we want to say that historically minorities have been overlooked, I would agree with you. But do I think that DEI is necessarily the implementation that fixes all of the problems? No, I don't. And I think that maybe we disagree on how to move forward on correcting that problem of there's a good, if you guys don't know who this is, I'm just going to throw this in real quick. It's a plug. Nature Drab on Instagram. He turns plastic into fuel. He's a young black man. He's like my age. He's like 25, 26. Very, very, very smart. He builds this stuff in his backyard. He deserves all the credit in the world. He deserves all the federal funding in the world. In my mind, he is not DEI. He is a freaking badass who has taken initiative and absolutely destroyed the competition and understanding on what is revolutionary for what we need going forward as a society. And those kind of people need to be propelled forward, regardless of what they look like or where they come from. So, and I think you would agree with that, Asteroid. I think we just have a difference of opinion on how we implement that and what DEI itself. And I heard you DEIA, and I hear you on that. The accessibility, I hear you on that, okay? Me, myself, I've never shared this on stream before. I'm a type 1 diabetic, okay? I understand the whole, accessibility thing. Okay, trust me, I do. So, and I have sympathy towards that. So I just want to throw that out there. Let's go ahead and get everybody's closing statements because we do have to end the stream here soon. So let's start with P-Rock, go down, we'll go to Asteroid, Barbara, and then we'll end on Jaren.
Like I told everybody before on the last time we did this, I don't give two shits about DEI. Whether you can do, it's either you can do the job or you can't do the job. That's all there is to it.
Okay. All right. Good statement. Asteroid, you're up.
Okay, all I can say is I can empathize you with being a diabetic. I hope you're on Medicaid because the price of your insulin is going to go up.
I'm not.
The price of your insulin is going to skyrocket. And what I said about having conversations with people that don't understand what something is, even though Barbara does not understand what DEIA is, I wasn't just talking about her. You and what I perceive Joe, and I don't really know what Joe, his definition of DEI is, you don't understand what it is either. And it's not an insult. I don't mean that you're
Understandable.
like that. I'm just saying we can't have a discussion on DEIA unless you literally know what it is. And what I meant by that, not as an insult, but I can't have a discussion about something with people I've tried to explain what it is, and it's just categorically ignored. So what I would suggest, Blaze, since you said earlier on the live you don't like to fact check in real time, when you get in off this live, go to Google or Bing or whatever you use and just write in define DEIA, and you're going to find that DEIA is not what you think it is.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. I will take you up on that offer. And I promise you on Monday, I will be much more informed on DEI. I can't promise that we're going to touch on the same subjects, but I promise you I will do more research and I will come to you with a more informed opinion next stream. Okay. Barbara, you're up next. Let's keep it respectful and I think, yeah, I trust you. I do. I trust you. Go ahead.
To Asteroid, I completely and totally respect your opinion, and I'm not trying to negate how you feel about any part of this, in particular this DEI/A thing that you're talking about. But please, with all due respect, don't undercut anybody else out here who has a difference of an opinion. I am fully aware or educated. I'm a 60-year-old woman. I understand exactly what DEI is. And I can tell you that at the end of the day, I don't want somebody in any kind of particular program, office, or position to make a decision that's not qualified and was hired specifically because they had to be, or because some government program mandated it. So with that being said, your skin color means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. Your credentials, your education, your knowledge, all of that means everything to me. So that's how you should be hired, on all of those things. Your merit, and only your merit. Getting your foot in the door simply because you are a minority or anything else because that's what the government mandates shouldn't even make you as an individual feel good, because then you're not there on your merits. But
Okay.
get there on your merits. That's all I'm saying, and that's how it is. Period.
Gotcha. All right. Is that your final statement, Barbara?
Yeah, because I know you need to move on.
No, you're fine. You're fine. If you have anything else you want to add, this is the time. You're good?
I just don't want Asteroid to feel like she wasn't heard. Because
Okay.
Was.
Okay.
And I don't want her to feel like she was disrespected on the panel.
Absolutely not. And Asteroid, you have a voice on this panel. If ever you feel disrespected, you come straight to me. You know what I mean?
I think, Blaze, you handled everybody on the panel very appropriately.
Thank you.
Ample time. And, if they didn't speak their piece, they didn't speak their piece. But I just don't want her to think that she wasn't heard by me, because her criticism was more with me than was anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, because I can take it. I got broad shoulders.
Yeah.
I just want to let her know I respect her opinion, but I just have to respectfully agree to disagree.
Hey, you know what? I think both of you can agree to this. Both of you are strong women who believe your own opinions for very specific reasons that you have lived your life up to this point, and that is what has built your beliefs up to this point. So you guys, you have reasons to believe what you believe, and you guys are very non-wavering in the points that you have to make. So I think both of you can agree with that and appreciate that in each other.
Also of the older generation, which that I respect in her as well, and so we kind of bring a little bit more to the table because we've been there, done that. So
Absolutely. Asteroid, yes, she brings a lot of experience to the table for sure.
One more thing. and
Yeah,
then I'll
go ahead. Go ahead.
And then I have to work. I can respect opinions. I know the difference between an opinion and a fact. The way I explain DEI is fact. There is no opinion on that. That's why I said go and Google it so you learn what it is, Blaze.
Gotcha. You know what? I think we should all Google it. Everybody, even Asteroid. I think all of us, after this stream, or whenever we get free times on this weekend, Google it. Let's come back on Monday. Maybe we make DEI the main subject of the next stream, and we'll all come back very informed. How do we feel about that? Maybe. I think that sounds like a good idea. Jaren, send us out on a positive note. Give your honest take, and then send us out on a positive note.
Well, I respect everyone's views and opinions. I will say this. I do also believe that a workforce should be qualified. But if you are going to have a qualified workforce, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a requirement. If you make an active effort to make it not diverse, exclusive, not equitable, or fair, you're not going to have a qualified workforce. And we're actually seeing the initial evidence of that with the current administration's anti-DEI policies.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I guess I'll just go ahead and end us out on a positive note. No, that's okay. No, I wanted you to give your honest opinion. No worries. Absolutely not. Always feel free to express your honest opinion, no matter how in disagreement it is with the rest of the panel. So thank you to everybody who's came out tonight. If you haven't followed already, please do so. Thank you to everybody who has already. And Asteroid, thank you for coming out again. Barbara, I want to see you on the next one. I see you followed. Thank you very much. I want to see you on the next one. We go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My wife is behind me. She looks like the grunge. It's kind of creepy. And
Asteroid, how do you feel about me following you? Are you okay with that?
well, why wouldn't she be?
Well, I don't know. She doesn't happen to agree on anything.
Well, that's okay. You know what? Difference of opinions opens the mind.
I'm not about following somebody who doesn't want to follow me back.
Sure, as long as you're not gonna message her and okay.
I'm too old for that playground.
Yeah, I believe you. Yeah, I believe you.
I got grown children and grandchildren. I'm not about that. My fighting days is over.
I believe you. Okay, all right. We go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:00. Subject to change, but we try our hardest to stick to that schedule. Thank you for everybody coming out, Jaren. I hope to see you again. Barbara, Asteroid, P-Rock. P-Rock, you literally are commissioned here. You get paid to be here. If you don't show up, I am rejecting your pay. You're off payroll. Okay, so stop that. Okay, stop the nonsense. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. See you on Monday.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, you want me to spend the rest of the night with you, Pookie? Ha! I bet. What time do you go to work tomorrow? Jeez.